I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about
Manwich!
His
podcast
never recovered from the lake after he drowned. And if you listen to the old-timers in town, they'll tell you he's still out there.
media platforms.
Has changed. It's got a death curse.
Some folks claim they've even seen him right in this area.
Who's that? Oh, hi. What are you doing on this mess?
The girl who survived that night,
Saturday.
that Friday the 13th, she claims she saw him.
Podcast.
Is he dead too?
We didn't find any.
Podcast.
Then he's still there.
She disappeared 2 months later. Legend has it that Manwich saw his
Podcast episode. Censored.
that night. And he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever
The platforms episodes.
again.
Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. That's a good boy. Good.
Manwich.
Manwich!
It's out there.
dead meat, slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
This is Man.
This is Rich.
And this is the
Manwich Show.
How you doing today, Rich?
I'm doing all right.
I like the mask, man. It's different, man.
Yeah,
I like
you know.
the mask, man.
Wait till next week. Wait till next episode.
What you doing next episode, man?
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna say it right now.
Yeah,
It's I want to say it's a surprise and come out lame, but
How work going so far, man?
man,
How
about prison phone calls going so far? You said you got somebody calling in?
Yeah, man. I got my boy Mookie Black calling in, man.
Mookie, how's it? Mookie?
Yeah, you know Mookie?
No, I just want to make sure I pronounce it right. Mookie
Yeah,
and not
Mookie
Moogie.
Black. Yeah, neighbors, man.
Oh yeah, what? He was next to you in a cell?
No, he was just, he just a good dude. We relate. Everybody else was on, like gang time. We was on like intellectual time. I used to always doubt God, and say not doubt him in that sense, but I used to always not think he real until he was like, man, he real, bro. Stop, doubting him, man. Have faith in him. He always brought me back to the word.
How did you check it out? How did you get a hold of him?
Oh, my cousin got a hold. That's how God worked. My cousin got a hold of them. They started chopping it up because, two minds think alike. So they started chopping it up.
Where's your cousin at right now?
He out now. JT. JT out. Woo brother and everything. He out now and he he doing well, man, looking good, man. And he, ended up bumping into, Mookie Black. Now they gotta, bun out this world, man. So he was like, man, my cousin Mookie, he just like you, man. Y'all got the same minds. And next thing you know, that we knew each other. That's crazy. And he put him on the phone, was like, man, yeah, I know, that's my boy, White Man. I'm like, yeah. I'm talking about he's sharp, though. He's, he like a, what's that called? Dang, I can't get the word right now, Rich.
Entrepreneur?
No, minister. Ordained minister.
Oh, he's a deacon?
Yeah, he like a minister. He could get what I'm trying to say is he could marry people, marry couples and everything.
Oh, that's basically like a minister, then he's a preacher?
Yeah, he can marry couples, but...
What's he in there for?
I don't know, man. I think it's something with, I don't know. I don't even know. He ain't.
It really don't matter, but
yeah.
Did he go to trial?
Violence, it's something with violence or something. Somebody might, lie on him or something,
Did he go to trial?
No, he
Oh, yeah.
He just got revocated or something like that.
Oh, that'll do it, man. No street, the street time don't count around here, not in this state, not in Wisconsin.
Yep, it don't count, man. So it's like
that's crazy. They can just pull the plug. That's how it's a human farm system. Yeah, they can pull the plug. You could be out for 9 years, 364 days, and be on your last day, and they can revocate you, and then you have to do all that time, or they'll make you do some of it, and you come out and you still have to finish.
That ain't fair, though, man.
No, well,
circumstances,
that's
though,
not
fair, man.
Because right now, people that are on probation, they're walking on eggshells.
They is, though.
They're basically like still in prison, except for they can make money, drive a car,
have your own house, have your freedom. Out here, it's way better than prison, though.
But if you could listen, there's states like Minnesota. In Minnesota, they do day for day. If you got 5 years of probation and you've done 3 years of probation and you get revocated, all you have left is 2 years.
That's how it is.
That's how in Wisconsin, though. If you have 5 years of probation and you get revocated at any time, you still have, and you do a year, let's say, when you come out, you got 4 years left of probation.
Still got it.
And if you get revocated again for a year, and when you get out, you got 3 years of probation. They make you do all of the probation.
That's deep, man. I don't know what that is.
5 years. 5 years can become 10 years.
What's going on with this system, man?
I don't know, man. That's when we need Jason.
No way. Yeah, but you know, it's a lot been going on, man. You know, growing a team. You know, meeting new people. You know, God-fearing people.
What's the team about?
You know, it's like a.
Is it a dream team? Are
Dream
you the
team.
MJ of the dream team?
No, you know, all us the MJs. You know, because it's like, and I gotta eat like a $40 raise. You know, so instead of doing 10 phones, we could do 3 phones now, and we got a $40 raise. So.
Oh, you get $40 for every phone now?
No, it's a $40 raise.
What? An hour?
No, just
off the
get
check.
done with your phones. Yeah. First, it was the limit of free phones, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you. Now,
explain to the viewers.
Just
man.
with free phones, right?
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta have to do 10, right? Now, they gave us the opportunity to make more money, so we could do 13 phones now, and the pay go up to $40 more add on to our pay. So with free phones, right? Just 10. Don't count the upgrades. It's like 160, you know, for 10 phones, right? 3 more extra, it go up to 200 now. You see what I'm saying? Just give it out 13 phones is $200. Now the upgrades, you know, it's a different ball game. You get them out, you know.
What's with the laptops, man? I want a laptop. That laptop you have, it's still unlimited. It's still unlimited internet.
What's that? You talking about tablet?
The tablet. Okay, the tablet that you have, is it still unlimited internet?
I still have some tablets, but I'm still trying to learn the process. You know, I'm trying to learn the new system they created. You know, it's different from the last. So, you know, they made it more difficult, you know, to get
the laptop that you have already right now. Do you have internet with it still?
No, you know, the laptops never hit internet. You just have to use Wi-Fi. You know, you need
and the
Wi-Fi.
laptop was $20, right?
You're talking about the tablet.
Tablet, yeah.
Yeah, laptops, the tablets like the Asus and HP, them laptops. But tablets, what you describing, you know? No, yeah, I have some, you know, but it's like I'm still trying to learn the system. You know, the process, how to process these tablets, man. Yeah, man, you know, I want to mention, you know, it's good to build bonds, man, in relationship with people. Already? We on, you guys. We got our first caller.
And 89 cents. To hear the charges for this call, press 2. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse, all calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hold on.
What's going on?
Oh, what's going on, Tom?
How you doing today, Tom?
How's it going?
I'm all right, man. How your day going so far, man?
You know, pretty repetitive. It's like Groundhog Day.
Oh, okay. Gosh, man.
So Tom, what's up,
What's
man?
up?
You tell us what's up, man. You want to give your spiel? You want to put your name out, your inmate number, and tell your story, or what? It's all you got the mic, man. You can say anything that you want to talk about. If you want to talk about Title 42 and the border, you want to talk about whatever, you talk about it.
Take my pick, huh?
Spin the wheel.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually rap about my case and the injustice and all that. I just got a criminal legal news I was just reading. Holy hell, dude.
Well, give it to us, man.
Man, the corruption in this place, the corruption with prosecutors, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'll just do this. Tom Glass, 184483. That's my DOC number. Case number is 2010 CF 189. Innocent. Innocent, I say. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing good, man. You know, we just started. You're the first caller. Oh,
no way.
Yes,
Yeah,
way.
no way.
Yes, sir.
man. We
Well,
appreciate you calling, Tom.
I appreciate you appreciating that. I'm in the Fed court right now. I don't expect anything too much. You know how they protect the higher courts, protect the lower courts. You know how it is, especially when you're innocent. They don't want to let you out. That's what makes them look the worst.
Did you get a response? Are you telling me that you got a response?
No, not yet. No. You know, the higher court, the 7th District in Chicago, already protected the court I'm in, so I don't expect too much. I don't know how he can get past the procedural default either, because you know, like I told you, Rich, that my appellate attorney filed ineffective assistance on my trial attorney for not impeaching the state's witness and all that, but trial attorney actually did do that. So in essence, he claimed nothing. So I explained that. I explained that fully, very detailed. That's what you got to do to get past the procedural default. Now, if he sticks to the procedural default, then he's just being crooked, and you know, they're not in the business of letting you go, man. They're in the business of maintaining your incarceration at any cost, especially an innocent man's. Because not only is that innocent man going to make him look like shit, but he's going to sue them, and they will avoid lawsuits at all costs, even though the taxpayers pay every dime of that. They will try to avoid it big time, and they don't like to look bad, you know, because who funds the system? Taxpayers. You know, they want to portray to the system that the system is almost perfect, and it's very, very far from it. Very far from it. Especially when you got judges and DAs that, you know, hear the truth from the complainant in testimony who admits the truth, and then they go and start manipulating the jury, lying to the jury about stuff, and
coaching the jury. Well, you got.
Oh man, you know, the DA couldn't get what they wanted. So what the DA did in closing arguments is just made up a bunch of crap, falsified testimony that wasn't even said, falsified evidence that wasn't even there at the trial, said it to the jury, and of course the last thing, you know, that they're hearing is this from the DA in closing arguments. That's the last thing they're hearing, because, you know, the DA gets a chance, then we get a chance, and then the DA gets another chance. So the last person the jury hears is the DA. And if you lie to the jury, as the DA did in my case 12 times, about things that didn't exist in testimony, and then the jury goes and deliberates, what are they deliberating on? Lies. And then the jury writes notes that they don't believe I'm guilty. They don't believe what the complainant said. And then they get, you know, 6 notes later, and they say, hey, man, we're not going to come to a decision today, tonight, or tomorrow. But then you got the judge makes them go back and deliberate after 9 hours, 5 times in and out of the deliberations room, right? And then the judge said to him, in some Allen charges, not by law, not enough time has gone by for deliberations. And he said that twice to him. He lied twice to him and said that to him. By law, not enough time has gone by for deliberations. Well, I don't think there's a law out there that says that, because the jury can take 5 minutes. The jury can take a month.
There's juries that have taken like 4 hours, like the Tiger King guy. That Tiger King guy, I think his jury was only 4 hours when I'm watching this documentary about his life.
Oh, and they came back?
Yeah, he came back, found guilty of all charges. But it was only 4 hours. And you're talking about yours was a couple of days or whatever. You know, it's like, and here the judge is saying it's not enough time that.
Yeah, 9 hours. I mean, the jury gets as little or as much. There is no law that says, hey, the jury has to deliberate for a minimum time frame. Basically, there's no such law. I mean, the judge has a lot of discretion, but when you start making up non-existent laws, non-applicable laws that don't exist, and then you utter them to a jury like they're real, and then the jury thinks, well, my goodness, the judge just said by law we have to go back in, thinking they have to by law. It was a lie twice. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happened in my case, in my trial, when Kim admitted the truth in testimony. Before trial, I couldn't believe they even took me to trial, because in 2 statements before trial, she admitted the truth. I mean, all but the actual words, he didn't rape me, right?
Yeah.
She admitted consent twice. She admitted going to the room. She admitted everything except for the exact words. But she confirmed those and stated those in testimony. So, of course, when that happened, the DA and judge started manipulating the jury. And, a defendant, so check it out. Trials are they're almost shams, because when the jury swore in, I mean, you can say, hey, the defendant's presumed innocent until proven guilty all you want. But normal, regular, common people, when they're sworn in as juries, they're looking at the defendant like, what's he going to do to prove his innocence? That's just how it is. That's human nature. The DA gets, what would you call it, the benefit of the doubt in trials from the get-go.
In other words, you're saying proven. In other words, you're saying guilty
until proven guilty.
Yeah, no, guilty until proven innocent in the court of law.
Right. The presumption of innocence is a farce. It's just a formality told to people that don't know better. So, the general public that hear, oh, well, this defendant, he's innocent until proven guilty. That's not how it goes. It's definitely not how it goes. And, like in my case, when Kim admitted the truth, the judge and DA started manipulating the jury. They no longer was the focus
calls
on
other than properly placed
whether
attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
The focus was no longer on the criminal charges against me. It was about focusing on the jury and, getting them, manipulating them and getting them to come back to a verdict.
In other words, they weren't focused on the truth. They were just focused on a conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Conviction, yeah.
And life and years aren't days. How many years you been in? I know how many years you've been in there already, but for the audience,
30. For the record, I got 20 in and 10 out.
And how long you been in prison so far?
13 years.
So you've been fighting your case for 13 years in the appeals court now, right?
Oh yeah.
And
I'll fight. I'll fight to my last breath. I'll fight to the last court. It's just when you're innocent, it's what you do. You don't stop fighting. Some people do give up. As a matter of fact, a lot of people give up. Absolutely. Look at Dassey. Remember Dassey?
No, who's that?
How many? Who's that? That's Stephen Avery's nephew.
Oh, dude. He was a kid when he gave that confession. His parents weren't there. His rights were violated. And, well, you know where he's at right now. I think he's at Fox
believe
Lake.
it or not, I was in Green Bay with him, and I've talked to him. What? No,
I thought he was in Walpole.
When I was in Green Bay, back when I was in Green Bay, he was in Green Bay. And I've talked to him a few times, and the dude is clearly slow. And he was coerced during those interrogations. And look at how many people admit things they didn't do. Do you remember in New York, the 5 dudes?
Oh yeah, you're talking about those kids that were in that park, in that big park. I don't know the name of the park because I don't live in New York, but yeah, they were. They said that they committed that crime, right? Is that what you're getting at?
The Central Park 5. There we go.
Yeah, Central Park 5. I watched a small piece on them and how their convictions were overturned and how they were coerced into saying that they were that
Yep.
they were
You got
coerced
a
into
lot of
saying
cases like that.
that they did
That
it.
that even happened to adults in Virginia, and they even had ironclad alibis that they were on a Navy ship, enlisted. They were enlisted in the Navy. They were on a Navy ship at the time, but the interrogating officer and the prosecutor still stuck to their story that there was a guy hanging out in the parking lot. 7 people came walking through, and he said, "Hey, let's go rape and kill a girl." And they all agreed to it and went and raped and killed a girl. One implicated the other after another because of the interrogating officer's tactics. I mean, it's just, man.
She ain't died though, did she?
Did you guys hear about the Beatrice 6? I was just reading an article on it in Criminal Legal News.
Tell us about it. Tell us in the audience.
Beatrice 6 there were 6 of them that were accused of rape and murder of a woman. Her name was Helen in Beatrice, Nebraska. It's in Gage County, and they found out, DNA. This was back in '85. DNA wasn't very good then, but DNA proved none of them did it. And then in 1992, the actual person that the DNA led to, he was already dead. So they filed a suit, $28.1 million. Well, the county couldn't pay for it. They could only afford $3 million. So they raised taxes. They raised all these penny taxes on groceries and property taxes. Nobody wanted to live in the county anymore. People started moving out. So they couldn't even pay the people. They couldn't even pay the lawsuit. But yeah, they sat for years and years. Remember Holloway out in Green Bay?
Yeah.
Holloway sat 24 years, innocent. Finley, the director of the Innocence Project, took his case, proved his innocence after 24. But the man sat 24 years.
Yeah. Hey, have you written to the Innocent Project?
I have. They were going to take my case until they found out there was no DNA in it. Now, the Innocence Project, they're good if you have DNA. Innocence Project, to me, is kind of a front. They don't take cases without DNA, so therefore they don't take cases where they know they're not going to win. They take cases with DNA, so that basically guarantees them 100% they're going to win. So when they get in the papers, oh, we won another case. Well, they don't take cases that are hard and complicated. They don't take cases like mine that don't have DNA, because then they have to actually, earn.
So it's like saying that the same method that put you in prison.
What's that?
The same method that put you in prison. In other words, somebody's testimony. It's not like somebody else's testimony should be able to get you out of prison, or your own testimony, if the facts don't add up.
Exactly. How can one be credible and one not? Right.
That's like Kimio.
They say that's for the trier effect. But like in my case, I was convicted on a statement. Now, the DA, they love cases like that. They're called circumstantial cases. A circumstantial case, a DA can make up any theory they want and go with it. Any theory they want. That's why they you're going to see in Wisconsin, especially with sex cases. That's why there's so many sex cases in prison. They say 5 to 7% of Wisconsin inmates are innocent, haven't committed a crime. But DAs love circumstantial cases because they can come up with any theory of the criminal charges they want and go with that, present it to the jury, and most of the time, of course, 99% of the time, the jury believes it. It's all about psychology in trials. It's not about truth and justice. It's not. It's about win.
Other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Win at all costs, and then once you're in prison, try to get yourself out. Then it's about maintaining your incarceration at all costs.
Then it's like good luck, because let me ask you this: do you have any advocates?
No, I have no advocates right now. No, I'm
You
just
gotta
doing
get some
everything
advocates,
myself.
man. You need to get some advocates, man. That guy Richard
Yeah.
Harrison, he's got advocates. And there's
Well,
no reason why you don't have any advocates then. If he can get advocates, man, you could get advocates.
Yeah,
if
I would
anybody listening
definitely-
right now and you want to be an advocate for Tom Glass, there's his name. There's his inmate number. You can write to him. We'll leave his address. You can write to him and get a hold of him. Learn more about his situation.
The bummer part about sex cases is a lot of people don't want to touch them. In my case, there's no fine details. There's no nothing. I even have the complainant, the declarant, admitting the truth in testimony. It's about how I was convicted, and a lot of people don't want to touch sex cases because they think they're taboo. But I think a lot more people with sex cases really, really need the help. And once they hear my case, and I can even send them, like briefs, all my briefs and stuff like that. I have no problem with that. They'll read it and be like, damn, okay, wow, this guy's innocent, We can prove it and all that, but until then, all they hear is a sex offense, and they shy away from it. But yeah, if I could, have, anybody call me and in order for me to explain, like to go over it or to come see me and just explain my situation, show them a few briefs, documents, and boom. I could show them Kim's 2 statements before trial where she admits consent. I mean, what more do you need, right? How do you get convicted then? It's amazing.
How do you even continue to be charged with a crime when somebody says that it was consensual?
That they consented, right? And how do you get dragged into trial when you have 2 statements before trial stating consent? I mean, they have a case law out there right now. I believe it's Aguars, AGURS, which states a conviction through perjury is unconstitutional.
How old the victim was?
It was his wife.
What's that?
It was your wife?
Yeah, my ex-wife, yeah.
Oh, man, that ain't cool,
My
man.
ex-wife of 21 years. Well, see, here's the thing. Yeah. She was just covering her ass. She was screwing 4 other dudes. She had this new guy who she had to protect this relationship with. He was older, engineer, more money. Of course, her next free ride. She's always rode the backs of men to get through life. But she's, to me, I don't know. Anyways, she's about image, money. She was protecting a relationship, and she didn't want dude to know about the other 3 dudes. Her dalliances, we'll just say, if you will. And because he didn't know any of that. And so they ended up in a van together, having sex or something, hashing out a story, and then
That's it, man. That was his 20-minute phone call.
Damn, man, that's crazy, man. I thought it was like a young girl.
Yeah. No, I didn't want. That's why I kind of did like this, because I didn't want it because it offend him. Like, I want to kind of like protect him because his isn't somebody that's like a teenager. There is no consent then, right? You know what I mean?
Ain't no consent.
He's got 2 kids with this.
That ain't cool, man.
Yeah, and
that's some type of women, man, that I tell people about, man, to stay away from, man. Vindictive, women. Character astray. So I know how I feel, man. And I understand, Tom, man. We appreciate your call, man, your testimony. Anyone out there, viewers are listening. May y'all tap in with Tom. And, letters, feedback,
groceries,
support. Support. Something that, to make a man that's innocent, feel more, secure instead of vulnerable.
So right now he's done 13 years as an innocent man. You did 15 years.
Man.
Now, he still have 5 more to go after that. And then when he gets out, guess what? If he don't do what they want him to do, they'll put him back in there and he'll do the whole 30 years.
Let's say it. Yeah, the system, it's injustice, man. It's like it's freaked me out sometimes.
I just, like he said, you got people that are in prison for circumstantial evidence. Like yours was circumstantial because of a bullet casing on your lawn.
Yeah.
But your mom said you were there. You were right next to her, So.
Yeah, it just ain't fair, man. It just, I don't know. It's take for the people, man, to get rid of this justice system, man. The judicial system.
You know what I noticed? This is what I found out from talking to Richard. Like when you were in prison, did you have any advocates?
I had.
You know what an advocate is?
Yeah, that's the person that
I did
oversee you. Yeah,
I did not. And so when I'm hearing, like, matter of fact, when you asked about that podcast I did with my brother and my stepdad, dude, that's why I was like, man, my stepdad was telling that guy Richard Harrison Jr. He was like, well, do you have any advocates? Now, of course, Richard Harrison Jr. has advocates, but like I didn't know that. Like there's guys I talk to, and now you know what I say to them? I say, man, get yourself some advocates. Man, if you don't have any advocates and you're in prison and you say you're innocent, then there's a problem there because you got to have if
somebody fighting for you. At least, discussing your innocence, to a more higher, court. Because I went to Supreme Circuit. I went to all that, man. It was just, like he said, testimonies. There wasn't no person, showing up and they, know.
Hey, where you at, man? We've been waiting for you.
I'm on my way over there.
All right, we're live right now. Matter of fact, we're live right now, and everybody can hear you live. So yeah, we're waiting for you, brother. We're waiting for you, Dad.
I gotta take.
Hey, I gotta let you go. Just hurry up, get here. Somebody's on the phone. All right.
All right.
All right.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Alan.
an. All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
What's going on?
What to do, Alan?
What's up?
How your day going so far, man?
All right. All right. Burn out on all this goddamn shit, but I'll be doing good.
This Alabama?
Huh?
This Alabama?
Yep.
Oh, what's up, Alabama, man? How you doing, man? What's going on, man? You talk to your family this week, man? Phone calls to your family? Your mom?
Say that again?
Hey, listen, you got the bad phone, man. That phone does not work. Hold the cord. I had Danny. No, I forgot. Somebody called me from that phone earlier. Hey.
What? You there?
Yeah, well, we're here, but the phone that you're on, because you're on that landline, dude, that phone is trash, dude. If there's a way you could hold the cord a certain way, then we can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yeah. Keep talking.
So yeah, want me let me see here. Oh my Lord, I wait till
Dude, listen, we were just talking about this. This is what you should do, Alabama. You should get some advocates, Alabama. Let me ask you: have you written to like any groups to support you in your cause?
And I've done that. That's what I've been doing that since for my first 9 years until this live podcast.
Dude, that's crazy,
that don't
man.
Work at all. Writing something on a piece of paper and mailing it out, that doesn't do shit, man. But this live podcast, how many times I've been on this live podcast? 18 times. Right? This year, right?
I'd say you've been on probably like plus 20 times, man. You've been on the Manwich show. You've been on the other podcast, the Manwich Power Hour Plus guys. Dude, we did the convict calls with you. Man, to in hopes of raising support.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm like, and every time I talk to all over the world, it's a live podcast, and yet I still have no
nobody that will sit there and give me their email or give me the time of day.
Alabama,
It don't make no sense.
Do you think it's just because like people that are in prison, people just don't care about it? Like they just don't care about people in prison. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Do you
look.
think what?
No, look, there's people that are out there free that were in prison that are listening to us right now. Hundreds of them, thousands of them. They've been in prison and been blessed by other people. And I scratch my head and say, why can't you pay it forward? And then you got people like Mother Teresa that have a mind like Mother Teresa out there. You know, that's never been in prison. But yet, they sit on their hands. I sit here and give them documented proof, you know, read off my documented proof stuff about how they violated my constitutional rights. I tell them that I'm a ex-military soldier. I served my country for almost 7 years. My character of service being honorable. No military.
He's on a horrible phone, man.
To sit here, and I'm trying to get this shit help before the end of this year, which I ain't got but like 6 more months, and I'll have 10 years down where everybody else gets 10 years total.
Alabama, explain to the viewers, the new viewers that haven't heard your story, explain to them about how your recent legal woes with the motion that was carried out and the effect of that motion after the fact.
I mean, I don't have it on hand, but I mean, it's like the damn search warrant violation. It never was filed. My search warrant was never filed on my index record or my criminal court record. My public defender was going to suppress something, ask for a hearing there, a date and a hearing. The court granted him. He purposely neglected to have that and went straight to a plea hearing. So there was a exculpatory evidence right there because he was going to suppress something, and it would have won me my case. Violated all that shit. Violation. That's the
Alabama, fix that phone, man.
Defensive counsel.
Hey, Alabama.
What?
That phone is so horrible, dude. I want you to get back in line. Get back in line. That phone is terrible, dude. We can't hear it. You keep coming in and out.
All right.
Hey, keep talking.
Man, it takes so fucking long, man.
I know. Listen, keep talking. Take that. You know what you do? Take that cord, right, and push it in. The cord that's the cord that's coming out the phone, or the phone that the cord that's going into the handle of the phone. Yeah. Push that in. Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. We both can hear you.
Okay. So yeah. So I grew up with only females in my life. I have 3 sisters, no brothers. My dad was a truck driver, so he was always gone. Okay? And all I had was my mama and my 3 sisters. And then I had my 3 daughters up here with Rihanna, you know. That's all I had in my life. So I suffer from damn post-traumatic stress.
Dude, this is bad, bro. Alabama, can you hear us?
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get on. Alabama.
What?
Dude, grab another phone, man. Just grab another phone, get back in line. That phone's trash, man.
All right.
All right, man. We love you, man. Call us back. We love you, man. Hey. Tell those other guys to get on the phone too, man. Tell that guy, that Mike Brannigan.
Yeah, I tell them. I've talked to them. Oh, he's not here no more. He got friggin' put in the hole.
Oh, man. Well.
Yeah, he failed a piss test.
We'll get the troops, man. Get the troops together, man. Let them know, man.
All right.
And keep spreading the word. All right, man.
Okay, Bama.
All right. Hey, man.
I know, man. I know how it is, man, when you innocent and when you feel some type of way about your case. You can't get it off your heart. You can't
advocates,
get it off your mind.
man. Advocates. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. Like the more we do these podcasts about people in prison,
we learn more.
Yeah. Because I'm like, you know what? If I'm innocent of a crime, I'm going to give me some advocates, man. I'm going to get me some. I'm going to write. Dude, that's like that guy, Richard Harrison. I bet that's why he says he sends out like 20 to 30 pieces of mail.
He's fighting more than most. You know,
man.
Richard Harrison, you know, he really didn't do it. You know, it really was publicity stunt.
Dude, he's had 8 out of 9 of his convictions overturned.
Yeah, so the last one got
attempted murder was overturned. That's what my stepdad said. He looked him up, right? He said attempted murder, abuse, burglary, all this stuff was overturned. He said, like 8 out of 9 convictions overturned. That's deep, man. That's unheard of.
Then they booked him for 1.
Well, they booked him for all 9, and he went back to court and had those other 8 overturned.
I don't get that, man. They should have had the other one overturned, the last one.
Because it's sexual assault. Man. That's what he's saying. He's saying it's because of sexual assault that they don't want to overturn that conviction. But they overturn a attempted murder. If that's the case, I never looked them up. You know why I didn't look them up? Because I'm not that guy. Yeah. Like, you got people that run around, and they're like...
Especially in the joint, they look up everybody.
Man, look, you got people out here, man. You can go work at a job somewhere, and guess what? Somebody will look you up. They'll CCAP you. Like, man, what the hell is wrong with you, man? That's crazy, man.
Man, when I was in the joint, man, I'm talking about everybody that came in that had a certain persona, and they had this image that they had to portray to fit in or, you know, belong. Man, they looked him up, man. He had all type of stuff wrong with him. I said, oh, man, that's why he portraying this. You know, and I had to separate myself from the faking phone, you know, because I never was that guy, you know, to portray something. I like to be myself. I want to be nothing I'm not, you know. And I saw that in a lot of guys. They something they not. Just be yourself. I think people don't gravitate towards you, the person you are. Now, on another note, what about them Lakers?
Man, you're a Lakers
fan? What about them Lakers, man? No, it's not about being a Lakers fan. You know I'm a Chicago Bulls fan.
You're a LeBron James fan?
I'm a LeBron James. He can go anywhere, and I'm right. He go to space. Go to the moon. Right now, I'm riding with him.
I'm tell you what, I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. Are they still in?
Man, you don't know nothing about no Jimmy Butler, man.
You kidding me? Jimmy Butler played for the Bulls. He played for the Bulls.
Who
and then when
he
left
from that then?
I don't care.
You ain't no Jimmy Butler fan, dude. Don't say
nah,
you're a Jimmy
you know what?
Butler
I'm
fan.
more of a Jimmy Butler fan than I'm a LeBron James fan.
Not, though. You not where he play? Who he play for right now?
It doesn't even matter. I've seen him play. I've seen him play.
Not a Jimmy Butler fan.
You know what?
You know why?
I'm a fan.
You don't know who he play for right now. A fan got to keep account of the player they watch. I'm a LeBron James fan. He played for the Lakers. He got 4 rings. You know, that's a person that's a fan, not just a person just say he a fan.
You don't have. He does have 4 rings.
Fan.
Yeah.
He got 4 rings. Golden State got 4.
How many times he's been to the big game?
10 of them.
Okay, he got 4.
But he took out the championships.
No, listen.
He took out the championship
listen
team.
Listen.
Golden State Warriors. And last night by 20-something. They took them out last night, man.
Oh, they're out the playoffs?
Yeah, Golden State Warriors out, man. Miami took out New York Knicks. They took out the Burks.
Hello, Moto.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from an inmate at Racine Correctional Institution. Your account balance is $15. To hear that all calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
So then the cop pulls up behind him in the van, and that's when the allegations came out.
Damn, dude, you did get back on. That's awesome, dude. I just told man, I said, I don't know. I did think it was you because you're the only one that doesn't leave your name. But I was like, man, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, so, you know.
Welcome back, Tom.
I I think her and her boyfriend hashed it out in the vehicle. She convinced him, and he was a part of it. I don't know for sure, of course, but I know she did it to cover her ass pretty much. Anyways, the guy was 15 years older than her, right? I don't know, older than her. He looked like her grandpa. He had, medical issues, bad knees, bad heart. Let's see, he was an engineer, made more money. She had to protect that. Kind of reminded me of a gold digger. But the guy wasn't rich, right? So it was
have a
kind
house?
of a low budget gold digger.
Hey, that's all they, you got some people that'll do that. They scratch their way.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
they just ride with the wave at times. Women just ride with the wave, what's making them feel good. They don't look at, logic like men do. They look at everything they feel.
Emotion.
Bundle of emotions, and they go with that. If you making them feel some type of way and he making them feel good at this time, they don't go with the guy that making them feel good at this time, not looking at longevity,
and very, very petty interest, right?
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me was the trial, was how the DA and the judge kind of work together in trials, which the judge is supposed to be impartial, neutral, but that's just not the case. It really isn't, and you got, well, think about it. You got public defenders that want to be DAs, or regular lawyers, and they want to be assistant DAs want to be DAs want to be judges want to, it's political agenda, and when prosecutors are in a court setting, in a trial, it's about the win. It's hugely about the win. I can't say, I'm not going to sit and slam the system and say it's 100% broken, because you do need places like where I'm at. But there's so many people that are innocent that are in prison, and so many others that fall through the cracks when they're trying to appeal their case while the courts try to maintain their incarcerations. And it's a lot of that political agenda takes effect, and they don't want bad headlines in the paper. They like to avoid lawsuits. But what really bothered me was what happened to me in trial, and my lawyer didn't really stand up for me too much, almost like he was scared to represent me. It was really weird.
Well, like he didn't want to touch the case, but it's not like
like he feared the judge and prosecutor.
That's kind of like that guy Richard Harrison. He talks about that with the attorney he has now, that she doesn't want to go all out and defend him properly, because she, as her words were to him, I have to work with these people.
Right, exactly. And if she's trying to be a judge, she doesn't want a record of her defending a sex offender on her judge record, or just before she becomes judge, because somebody could bring that up. And of course, once again, it's about political agenda. If she wants to be a judge, she definitely ain't going to win this case for him. He's a sex offender. Is there such a stigma that is attached to sex cases? It's unbelievable. For example, check this out. There was a case, man, I can't remember the name, but there's so many people who can relate to this. This is the scenario. You have a husband and wife and a child, 8-year-old boy. Husband and wife get a divorce. Mom finds new boyfriend. Mom and new boyfriend hate dad, so they convince and bribe the kid, saying that dad touched him. So the man spends 10 years in prison. The kid turns 18, of course, in 10 years. He's 18 now. He comes back and he goes to the authorities and says, listen, man, I was a kid at that time. I was bribed. I was, given money. I was given cookies, whatever the case may be. I was bribed. It never happened. Even a recantation like that later on doesn't hold much weight. But in this guy's case, it did. The kid was like really adamant on saying, listen, I lied. My mom and her boyfriend threatened me, bribed me, told me to say this, but I'm telling you now, my father never touched me. It was a lie. I was a kid at the time. I was, coerced, blah, blah, blah. So, and it still took another full 2 years for this guy to get out of prison going through the courts with this recantation. The courts didn't want to accept it. You know what they always say?
What?
It's called excited utterance. The closer the statement is to the actual event that somebody alleges is an uttered excitement. It's more reliable than, say, 10 years later. 10 years later, that statement's not very reliable because some people sometimes change their minds, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, and the closer to the event given rise to the allegations, they call excited utterance. It's more reliable, they say, and that's what they depend on. Two things they depend on is that, and of course, the trier of fact. If you go to trial and the jury says, hey, you're guilty, they will not disturb. Even if, you know what they say? They say even if a jury hears evidence of your innocence, they can still pronounce you guilty. In this aspect of what I'm saying, that's how the system is very broken. That's how a lot of innocent people are in. And of course, I said the theory of the case with the DA and circumstantial cases, you're going to see a lot of circumstantial cases because that's the type of cases they like the best. Them are the ones they win. All they need is a statement. If a woman says she was raped, listen, Jesus Christ could be accused of rape and he would be convicted in a circumstantial case. That's just what really disappoints me about the system. I think, if I were to put numbers on the system and how reliable it is, I would say 60, maybe 65%. Same with prisons, maybe 65%, maybe 70% of prisons need to be here. But Wisconsin's got so many of them.
Do you feel that after the riots and the Greg Floyd incident that
George Floyd?
Yeah, George Floyd. Okay, but do you feel that changed the attitude of the courts?
I think the fact that BLM came out and was trying to defund cops, defund the whole system, and then you had the BLM, and then you had I think Vice President Harris and AOL, what's her name? Cortez, that woman, how they bailed out actual criminals and bailed them out. And now look what's happening. It backfired on them because they're the first people to go to the cops, and they want cops for safety. You have to have, it's human nature is what it is. I believe you have to have structure in a human world. You have to have rules, structure. If there is nothing, there's chaos.
Properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
It's called anarchy. You can't have anarchy. Anything goes and the bad people usually win. And that's what happened since the whole George Floyd thing. I mean, you had everybody else doing the same as BLM, but it was okay for BLM because they were protesting for a cause, but now that cause is backfiring on them. They're the first ones that now want cops because they fear for their life, they fear for their safety. And look what the BLM founders did. They spent all the money that they received on mansions and high-priced cars.
They took that money and pocketed that money, man.
No,
they pocketed all the money. That's what they did.
That's shameful.
I mean,
man.
They were supposed to use that money for justice, like actual justice for their people. I mean, if they were so interested in justice for their people, they would have spent that money on injustice to get justice for their people. But they didn't do it. To me, it was just another scam. BLM's just another scam. A hate group. That's just my opinion, of course. I'm entitled to it, but now it's backfiring, and they're the first people that want to go to the cops and say, hey, my neighborhood's unsafe. Well, you're the one that wanted to defund the cops. Now look what happened.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then, of course, all the crime went up, right? Homicides, the whole works.
Well,
yeah.
When it comes to circumstantial evidence,
Yes.
you know who the Tiger King is, right? Joe Exotic. You've heard of him?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now with Joe Exotic, he was basically found guilty based on circumstantial evidence, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a woman that's involved in this whole documentary that, is already 2 years old, but still, Carol Baskin and her husband coming up missing. And there are people, okay, for one, I don't feel that Joe Exotic should be in prison. That's a circumstantial evidence that there was two other people that they're the true culprits, and they drew him into some crazy stuff or whatever, but it wasn't his idea.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. Okay, so he's sitting in prison basically because people said that he agreed to a crime being committed. Okay, I'll just leave it at that with the hitman thing. Then you got a woman, Carol Baskin, who her husband was going to divorce her, who was a millionaire, and then right before all the paperwork was going to be filed or whatever, what happens? He disappears. He just disappears. Nobody ever hears from him again, and she becomes a millionaire, inherits all his money. And there's people right now sitting in prison for that very thing. That same set of circumstances, whether it's a man or a woman, they're sitting in prison right now under the same set of circumstances, but yet she's not. And I'm not advocating for her to go to prison. I'm just saying, based on circumstantial evidence, dude, nobody should be sitting in prison for circumstantial evidence. It better be concrete, like, yo, the blood was here or the blood was there. Do you got people that, let's say somebody's missing, right? And there's a pool of blood, right? Now, okay, a pool of blood, define a pool of blood. How big is the pool, right? But let's just say there's a sizable amount of blood. What they can do is, though that person's missing, they can call that a body, and a person can be charged with murder based on that. I know this because when I used to watch those shows where you were at, I used to watch that Forensic Files stuff, and there was that's what happened. They couldn't find
circumstantial cases these days. You don't need a body, right?
Nope. All you have to have is, like, for instance, like with this one guy, he was convicted of murder just because of the pool of blood. I'll be right back. I got to answer the door. Take the call to Tom.
I hear you, Tom. Continue, Tom.
All right, man. Hey, so I want to mention two things in like my situation in my case. Now, I have a sex case. When a woman or anybody says they were raped, I believe they should take a sex kit. I believe it should be mandatory.
But not only that,
but not only that, if there is no statute of limitation on the allegation that can be brought against somebody for rape, then there should be no statute of limitation for perjury when you find out the person lied about it. But there is. There's a 6-year statute of limitation on perjury, but there's no statute of limitation on an allegation of a crime, in a sex crime, as far as rape and sexual assault and stuff. So that just always bugs me. I think DNA kit, sex kit should be mandatory. And in my case, my ex refused sex kits 3 times because my DNA wouldn't have been on her. It would have been probably her boyfriend's DNA or whoever she screwed the night of or the next night. Yeah, so that's what I believe. I should believe, and so then if you have DNA, it wouldn't be a circumstantial case then. And the fact that she went and had sex the day of her allegations against me or the day after, I wasn't able to bring that up. There's a thing called rape shield law, where you can't ask her them questions. So there's certain evidence you can't bring out.
Dude, that sounds like Kobe Bryant.
To her character.
That sounds like what Kobe Bryant. Remember with Kobe Bryant, that woman? She had other guys semen in her.
Player.
Yeah, she had other guys semen in her, and she's like, nope, but it was Kobe.
Right. And then you can't bring up, and she refused the sex kits. But yet you couldn't bring up the fact that she had sex either that night or the night before. You can't bring up what do you call that? Like certain characters of a rape victim in trauma, like psychologically. you couldn't have an expert to come say, like I had this, my PI did sexual assault cases for 25 years in Milwaukee, and they wouldn't let him comment on if this was normal, normal stuff for a rape victim to say and do after an alleged assault. And I couldn't believe that. I'm like, this guy, 25 years, pretty much counts as an expert, but yet he can't comment and give his expert opinion. It was unbelievable. The DA immediately objected. And, of course, you know, the judge gave the DA pretty much everything she wanted. Anyways, they didn't have any evidence. My ex didn't say I forced her, didn't say I threatened her. As a matter of fact, to the contrary, obviously, like I said, in the statements before trial and at trial, she admitted there was no threats, no force, no nothing, no weapon, no nothing. But they still got me on second degree, which is force and threats, but yet she never uttered them. It's amazing. Well, like I said, they focused on the manipulation of the jury, but I was just telling, who was that? You went and answered the door. I was saying that, you know, in sex cases, there's no statute of limitation, right? But but there's a statute of limitation on perjury. Now, say this woman, let's just take my ex for example. She lied, and she said I raped her. And so after 6 years, she could go to the judge and DA, laugh in their face, and say it never happened. But she's too proud to do that anyway with their image anyway. But she could come at that after 6 years and just laugh and say I was never raped, and it wouldn't help me at all because the statute of limitation on perjury already ran out. So she couldn't get charged with perjury, but yet she can accuse somebody of sexual assault forever. There's no statute of limitation. I was saying if there's no statute of limitation on an alleged accusation of rape, then there should be no statute of limitation on perjury.
Properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
So in my case, for instance, if I prove my innocence, which is she's already admitted to the truth, but she won't go to jail. Nothing will happen to her. So how are people accountable or culpable for what they do when there's no consequence? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It just sucks. It just sucks. It's so two-way in Wisconsin. Like one way, it's the woman can say it. She could be lying. There's a statute of limitation. After that statute of limitation, she could admit the truth. She doesn't get in trouble. But yet, if she accuses a man, she can accuse a man 50 years from now if she wants, and it'll still hold up in court. It's pretty sad. Yeah, I mean, if you keep doing something over and over and you're not held accountable, well, how do you learn? How do you learn?
Now, on the flip side,
1
right?
minute remaining.
Now, are your mom still living?
My mom? No,
Yeah.
she's dead.
All right.
She died in '96 of cancer. Yeah, it sucks.
If she
tell all your mothers Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a rainy day. That sucks.
Yeah, I know, right?
Go figure, right?
Yeah. Tom,
All right,
thanks
fellas.
for your story, man. You got 1 minute left, man. We appreciate your calls, man. So we're looking forward to hearing from you next week. You take care. You have a good rest of your day, man. And call again, Tom.
I will.
Thank
Tom,
you
you're a
again,
smart
man.
cookie, man. If you want to call again tonight, get on the phone, call again, because we love hearing from you. And you got a head on your shoulder, man. You got a brain up there, that's for sure.
I got in twice here because everybody's on track right now. They're
Dude, get back in the line then, bro.
Right.
You ain't paying for these phone calls. I got it. Don't worry about it. Get back in.
All right.
Get back in, man.
Cool. I'll do my best.
All right, my stepdad's here too, man. He'd love to hear from you.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
Be good. Love you.
Yep, love you too, man.
I was going to ask him, how many years did he get?
He got 20 in and 10 out. He went to trial.
But what did he do?
His wife accused him of rape. They've been together I don't know if they were actually married, but they'd been together for 20 years, and they had 2 kids together. And they were separated, and she ended up being with another guy in which she was still having sex with him on the side. And the other guy found out about it. The other guy he's an engineer. He probably had his own house. He was well set off. And then what happens is she didn't want to lose the guy. She was, because whatever would be at stake that she could lose. So he caught wind of her having sex still with him, with Tom, and one thing led to another, and she ends up picking up the phone and saying that Tom raped her. And after Tom was arrested, she gave statements saying that it was consensual and that she wasn't held against, that she consented to the sex, right? But yet, after those cuffs got on his wrist, they never got taken off.
Had to happen in that many years. My gosh,
Hello, Moto.
All right, hold on.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Thomas Allen,
an inmate at Racine Correctional Institution. Your account balance is
Just hold on. Wait.
$13.65.
If I'm saying,
other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IT Solutions.
Richard
you
called.
may begin speaking now.
Hold on. Hey, Alabama.
What's up, man?
All right, just hold on. I'm gonna say something quick. So listen, let's say for instance with Richard had called, but that was Tom, man. Tom Glass, that is. Tom, he rarely gets on. So I didn't pick up the phone for Richard. But Richard, where he's at, he can get on the phone. He's gotten on the phone multiple times. So I'm sure that Richard, he'll call again. There's still 2 more hours. The show still has just about 2 hours left. So Alabama.
Yeah.
So if you want, you could share with the audience. Just give your story, man. Give out your story again. The more people hear your story, Alabama. Like for instance, like the events that led up to your arrest, right?
Yeah.
And what occurred while you were in court. The more people will be able to understand, and they'll be able to understand your situation and put themselves in your shoes, and then. So having said that, go ahead, man. Give your whole story out again. Give your story. The more your story is told, the more likely somebody is going to hear, and then you might end up getting that advocate that you've been looking for.
All right. My name is Thomas Allen Burks, DOC number 451176. I'm serving time at Racine Correctional Institution, Washington West 2211. That's my room. I just turned 50 years old, April 9th last month. I'm a Caucasian white Southern man. I moved up here from Mobile, Alabama. I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. I moved up here in 2000, and I'm trying to fight my case. Number 2013CF001378, Kenosha County. I have been locked up since December the 14th, 2013. Was given 20 years in and 15 years out. I was forced into an Alfred plea. There was 100% no physical signs on supposed victim, meaning one person, live body inside or outside. 100% no DNA from either one of us on either one of us or any material. 100% one. Hey, y'all know y'all are talking over every time I talk, I can hear y'all in the background.
All right, listen, go.
What?
There's no way you could have heard us, but go.
100% nothing to constitute any crime scenes. 100% no witnesses, according to the detective investigative report. And at the very end of his report, he prays to God to find something on me. But yet here I am, 20 years in, 15 years out on paper. So my public defender, which is nothing but a undercover state prosecutor that works 100% for Wisconsin system only and 0% for me because I'm a poor indigent citizen that was not born and raised up north here, but I was born and raised in down south in Mobile, Alabama. My public defender had exculpatory evidence, which I don't know what it is, but at one of my court hearings, as indicated on my criminal court record document for the court hearing dated 03/06/2014, states the following. The defendant, Thomas A. Burks, appears with attorney Michael R. Barr, defendant in custody. Attorney Patrick J. Anderson appears for the prosecution. Attorney Barr requests a motion hearing date. He will, now listen to this, he will file a motion to suppress within 2 weeks. Motion hearing set for 5/1/14 at 3 o'clock. Motion hearing scheduled for May the 1st, 2014 at 3 o'clock p.m. Copied word for word, documented proof. I'm saying this word for word what it says off the document. Even though the court granted him this date and time, he neglected on purpose not to have this hearing. Clearly a violation of my constitutional rights, 6th and 14th Amendment. Then I got this shit out of the Knowles Criminal Law Handbook. It said, prosecuted, exculpatory evidence, U.S. versus Williams, U.S. Supreme Court, 1992. As part of their obligations to pursue justice and promote fairness, prosecutors have a duty to reveal exculpatory information to the defense. Do prosecutors have to turn over information that helps defendants? Hell yeah, they do. Prosecutors have to provide defendants with exculpatory information. Exculpatory information is material information known to the prosecutor tending to prove that a defendant is not guilty of a charged crime. Brady versus Maryland, U.S. Supreme Court, 1963. Exculpatory evidence is material if a reasonable probability exists that its disclosure would have changed a trial outcome. If the prosecutor fails to turn over exculpatory information and the defendant is convicted, like I was, and an appellate court can overturn the conviction if the defendant appeals and the exculpatory information that the prosecutor fails to disclose was afforded. The problem is that all Wisconsin courts are in cahoots with each other. Cahoots. That's C-A-H-O-O-T-S. Cahoots. Means they're all dirty together. So regardless of how a state court applies state evidence rules, a federal habeas court has a independent duty to determine whether the application violates the Constitution. The question is, what was my public defender going to suppress? Well, I don't know. They won't tell me. Also, in my preliminary court hearing, the detective said out loud in court that he smelled alcohol on my breath just prior to allowing me to self-volunteer myself, and the only reason why I did so was the following. This was right before I was being questioned, too, that Saturday morning. So, number one, I hadn't had a wink of sleep in 40 hours straight since Thursday, December the 12th, 2013 at 4 p.m.
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
To Saturday, December the 14th, 2013 at 8:50 a.m. Number two, the last 12 hours straight of the 40 hours I drank heavily, as indicated in my sentencing. The last 12 hours straight, I had drank 40 hours. The last 12 hours straight of the 40 hours, I drank heavily, as indicated in my sentencing transcripts, page 9, line 19, 21, and 22, by my public defender out loud in court. Line 19, he says he does have some issues with alcohol. Lines 21, 22, it says it's clear he was using in excess. So he knew this shit. So you can see on
You're
all
saying
my
that when you were questioned, you were drunk at the time when you were questioned? You were intoxicated?
This is what he said out loud on the day I got sentenced. You know, when they sentenced me to prison.
Okay.
He said, it's clear he was using in excess. So that means they have exculpatory evidence. They have evidence that it's clear that they seen all the damn open cans of 16-ounce beers cans that were filled up one of them big-ass drawers. And then all the unopened cans of beers that I had in my refrigerator and in my backpack. I mean, I had tons of I had at least over 30 damn open 16-ounce beer cans in a drawer. And then I had a whole bunch of unopened ones, you know, chilling out.
Did that pertain to your sentencing? Did you use that for your sentencing too? They gave you time on that for drinking?
I didn't hear you.
You know, you said you were drinking in that, right? Was part of your sentence due to you drinking?
I was drinking right before I got questioned. I was drinking. He knew there was something wrong with me. When he came into the room and started talking to me, the detective, and the other 2 police officers that surrounded me,
You know,
he knew that something was wrong with me.
Here's something I want to know. You have any more? Did you have more? You got more than one felony on you, right?
I got.
Yeah. Have you been in trouble before this? You have a record?
No, I don't really have that bad of a record. It even says that in my transcript. All I have
but I
is
mean,
like five DCs, disorderly conduct. That's all I have.
All right. Well. Now, here's another thing. You know, you talk about your lawyer. You know, your lawyer, his first, you know, with the judge, right? It's to the court. His first obligation is to the court. That's what a lawyer does. It's to the court. So if you think that lawyer has cahoots with that lawyer, he probably does, because he has the same thing. You know, the obligation. The lawyer has the obligation to the court before you. You know.
Yeah.
And
well, his obligation.
The DA, and your lawyer gets together and with the judge, and the judge comes back and tells them, you know, what he thinks, and which, you know, is really improper, you know, for a judge to make decisions like that.
My lawyer has 100% obligation to me.
You know, it's to the court. I know it's supposed to be, but it's not that way. It's not that way. Their obligation is to the court first, because that's their job. Their job is to the courts. You know, it's not just one court.
A public defender, yeah. If you're poor, they're automatically going to be, because the damn state's paying him. So he's, I can see where you say his obligation is to the court first.
And then another thing,
but really, according to the 6th Amendment, his obligation is 100% for me to defend me, whether I'm poor or not.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but it never works that way.
Well, it says right here, you can see on all 3 of my CDs of my interrogation questioning, you know, the audio video when they recorded it, that every time detective wasn't talking, I would nod out, meaning close my eyes, and my chin was in my chest or my head was laid back on the wall sleeping every time. And he asked me 1,000,000 times if I wanted coffee, over and over and over and over. Not to mention, before all this, I was...
Why 20 years? Why 20 years?
They gave me 20 years.
But why 20 years? I mean, that's pretty stiff, you know, on a first charge, a 20-year sentence. Yep. Something, you know, what else went on, you know? Something else had to happen in between that job. I mean, Christ, 20 years, you know, man. I mean, you know what the max is on the first sentence for a sexual assault? You can bang them, do whatever you want. The first sentence is 5 years. And the low sentence on that 5 years is 3 years.
They banked me. I didn't even kill nobody or do anything permanent to anybody. You know, I didn't give nobody anything permanent. I never did anything permanent to anybody. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't do anything to get 20 fucking years.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of years, you know, for a first time offender like that.
Well, everybody else.
Take it to the federal court. Send it to the appellant's court, and then, you know.
Over 75% of the people with bullshit-ass cases like mine that can never be proved because of forced into a fucking Alfred plea like I was, they can't be proved.
Yeah, but you're lucky you went to Alfred plea, though, because now it can be brought back up into court. If you went to pleaded, you would have had zero chance of getting it back into court. By an Alfred plea, it doesn't close the case. It keeps it open.
Right. But look at here. They should have read me, even though I self-volunteered myself because I wasn't in my right state of mind, and because I was just raised that way because of my religion, and I got Bible verses that tell you why I sit here and just it's right here. Titus 3:1 says, "Remind your people to submit to rulers and authorities, to obey them, and to be ready to do good in every way." And then 1 Peter just says, "For the sake of the Lord, submit yourself to every human authority." The Moody Bible commentary says this. You know, this Moody Bible commentary was made up by 30 professors, college professors, and they say they describe what 1 Peter 2:13 means. It says, "One also submits to authority because it has been ordained by God." When believers act responsibly towards civil authorities, they are acting freely, remembering they are God's bondslave.
Yeah, but
And then you got
that's religion. That's a religion thing, you know. That has nothing to do with your sentencing or with the judge's rules or the court's rules.
No, what I'm
anything.
trying to say is I'm going to automatically submit to my authorities because of this, because I was raised. I was brainwashed into these Bible verses. So I'm not a serial killer. I mean, I'm not a serial criminal or a habitual criminal or career criminal. So, I mean, it ain't like I run into the law all the damn time and know all this goddamn bullshit.
Hey, Alabama, tell my stepdad about what happened recently with you and the motion that was put out. Tell him the whole thing about that motion that just happened recently with you and what the result was.
Like I said, I don't have that on me.
Off the top of your head, you know what happened, though.
They got me.
You don't need verbatim. We don't need verbatim. You don't need to say verbatim. You could just.
He got me. He got me back into court, and the judge must have seen something good because he gave me a court date. But then my court date was the 7th, March the 7th. But then the DA came up with a fucking note to give to the court on the March the 6th, the day before it, saying that he don't have to give me this and that they have no damn ground and all this other bullshit. And I guess the court took the DA's word for it because at the very last minute on March the 7th, the sergeant told me to come up to death and said they canceled it. I was about ready to be escorted out of here and go to Kenosha because it's right there to do my court hearing. And then at the last second, they said it was canceled, and they haven't explained why.
You sure one's just postponed?
Other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
I mean, it's been damn 8 weeks. It's been 8 weeks, 2 months since March the 7th, and I still haven't got an explanation from the judge himself. I mean, fuck the DA, what the DA thinks. I haven't got a damn thing, an explanation from the judge himself. So he's the one that granted me the damn hearing. What he read in that damn motion brief, he must have been impressed with. That's the reason why he gave me the hearing. But then the DA said they don't have to have the hearing, and then that's all I hear. 2 months later, I still don't have nothing.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never ran across a case like that before,
But I'm about burnt out on all this shit, man, for real. You hear me?
Yeah, it'll burn
I'm burnt out. I mean, I told you I had post-traumatic stress disorder, and this is what the hell post-traumatic. This is the definition of.
Did you ever put in for reduction of time?
Yeah.
You didn't receive it?
This is the definition of PTSD. A severe anxiety disorder triggered by a dramatic event like the fuck I'm going through right now, characterized by all-pervading fear, anxiety, depression, mood swings, feeling of helplessness. And let me repeat that. Hey, let me repeat that shit right there. Feeling of helplessness, depression, anxiety, and fear of nobody helping me out.
That's going to be, pretty difficult. But there's other, you can do other things, If that don't work out, you can go send to appellate court, all your information to appellate court.
Hey.
Or you can even reverse it, go to a higher court, go to the federal court,
Hey.
It's right down in Milwaukee, right on Wisconsin Avenue.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Richard.
Yeah.
Richard Hart.
Yeah. What's up?
Did you hear what I said about PTSD?
You're saying you got it right now?
This case has given me PTSD over 9 years. It's called a severe anxiety disorder triggered by a dramatic event. I'm going through a dramatic event because nobody will fucking listen to me, and I'm tired of this goddamn shit. It's characterized by all pervading.
But don't lose faith. Listen, don't lose faith. Don't crack up. And in the meantime,
people need to know what I'm going through though, because it's characterized by all pervading fear, anxiety, depression, mood swings, feeling of helplessness. Let me repeat that last one. Feeling of helplessness.
Oh, that's what you're feeling though. You sending that to a court or something to let somebody else know that? Because it ain't going to work. It's not, That what you're going through is a normal thing that everybody goes through when you go to prison. You don't go in there; you're not never a happy camper. You know, you're always on edge. You're always on edge. You're learning to stay on edge.
I'm trying to speak to the people out there listening on the live podcast of what I'm going through, because nobody will get off their fucking hands and help me. You know, and I represent the Constitution of the United States. I was an ex-military soldier, man. I was a veteran, and nobody would get off their fucking hands out there and help me.
Did you contact the Veteran Administration?
1 minute remaining.
Did you contact them? Contact the veterans about it.
Hey,
yeah,
hey, listen. Alabama, listen, stop. Alabama. We're gonna take this phone call. Get back in line, all right?
All right.
Hello, you have a call at no expense to you from
Richard Harris,
an inmate at Oshkosh Correctional Institution. To accept this call, press all calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, what's going
on?
on?
Rich, good to see you. I mean, good to hear from you, man.
How you guys doing today, man? God bless you guys.
God bless you, Richard. And we want to hear from you, man. And we have a new guest speaker, man. I mean, you know, he ain't no new guest, but he one of the co-hosts. And, you know, he finally here, and we want to hear from you, man. So what you got for us, Richard?
Well, I've been in your show 2 other times. My name is Richard H. Harrison, Jr. I'm currently at Oshkosh Correctional Institution, and anybody who's been following, I would just like to say that I did receive a response from the attorney from the previous letter that you guys read on there, and if you'd like me to read it,
dude,
I can.
No, hold on, just so I get this right. So you mean to tell me that the letter that was read on that was read on the podcast?
Yes.
An attorney reached out to you?
Yes, she did.
Dude, we want to hear it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, we want to. That's what's up, dude. Oh, that's God bless you, man. Amen. Thank you, Lord Jesus. All right, go ahead, man. Do your thing, man.
That's what's up, man.
So she writes back, as I said in the letter, for anybody who was paying attention and listened to exactly what you wrote, that I said, you know, she was causing psychological warfare games and, you know, and emotional stress with me, and she wasn't trying to work with me or do her job. So she wrote me back. She said, I'm causing her emotional warfare games and psychological stress, and if I don't like it, I can fire her. Her words.
Oh, hold on. I misinterpreted that. You're telling me that I thought an attorney had heard the podcast and wrote to you.
No.
All right, listen. So she's reversing the tables on you now and saying that you're the one that's being the aggressor. Yeah.
No, actually, you misinterpreted that too. She's actually doing exactly what I put in the letter that you have in your possession. She is writing back the exact same words that I wrote, and then at the end of it, her words were, if I don't like what she's doing, to fire her. So what I did was I sent out immediately to Peter and everybody else, so that way they could get it to you. Obviously, they must not have had enough time to get it to you, but you will have it in your possession, the exact actual copy of it, so you can see word for word what she does. You know, this is an ongoing continuation of exactly what I've been dealing with. You know, she does not want to do her job. She feels like, you know, she'll never make it to be a judge if you know, she does what she, you know, if she takes some, you know, shows what the court system did to me. So she basically does that. This is the psychological warfare that I deal with her every time I try to communicate with her. You know, I've told her over and over and over, I will do anything that you ask me to do. I will be as pleasant as you tell me to be. I will do anything you ask. All I'm asking is for her to protect the record. And she's unwilling to do that. Instead, she writes me back the identical word-for-word letter that I just wrote her, and then simply puts her words at the bottom of it. If you don't like what I'm doing, fire me. And, you know, obviously I can't do that, because then I can't claim ineffective assistance of counsel against her for, you know, for what's been going on. I have to wait, let her do everything she's going to do to me, and then I have to go back against ineffective assistance of appellate counsel. So it's it's not a good situation. You know, I was speaking to some of my relatives today. They said they might be trying to call into the show, so I don't know if they did or not. But
No, nobody's called yet. Nobody
Yeah,
called. Only prison lines.
yeah. So I mean, everybody's pretty upset. You know, it's just there's nothing else I can do. You know,
Dude, there's got to
my
be at least.
GoFundMe.
There's got to
Go ahead.
be at least one. There's one attorney out there in Wisconsin that could go and do what you need, and that is to protect the record.
It could be
That's
a
all I
problem.
need.
There could be a problem there. You have multiple felons on you, right? You were in prison.
No, I just got the one now.
You were in prison before.
No, but I just have the one now. That's it. I don't have anything else. I have just the one felony now.
Only now. They put them all away, right? They buried them.
Say that one more time, sir.
Is all the other convictions that they had, they dismissed them, right?
Yeah, they're all vacated and dismissed.
Now,
I don't know what the computer shows, but yeah, that's all done.
You know, with them kind of things like that, they're still there. They're still there. When they look at when you're in court and you're going to court and you're being brought in for a Class H felony or something like that, and the judge will open up that thing there and he'll look at it, see what you all did. He'll look at it. He'll know it. He's not going to refer to anybody else on it because he's going to make that decision himself. But he's looking at what you did. He's looking at from the beginning you got in trouble all the way to the top. And that could stop you from anything, because that judge is going to look at that stuff. So and
I understand that.
You know,
I get that. But my point is, they know now that I didn't execute the crime. I mean, they legitimately and physically, not just me saying that, they know, and they're doing everything they can, to make sure that I don't get this record protected. I mean, nobody who knows the law can say that they've ever heard of a person being stuck in a courtroom on a state level for over 7 years or 6.5 years. It's just an unheard of thing. It's on precedent. I can't even find case law for it. And I've been, I spend hundreds and hundreds of hours,
there is no
in the
case law for that. I don't think there is a case law.
Yeah, I've looked, and it's like, you're just like, wait a minute, you can't forcefully hold a person from getting to the appeals, and then by them actually doing, that letter that I gave to the gentleman at the show, on that last page, it clearly says, if Mr. Harrison does not put the issues in, I will act as if he had no issues, and I'll make it a court order. She just told them at a court hearing that I was court ordered to be at and was not allowed to be at. I mean, you have the paperwork right there with you guys that clearly shows she told them, just don't put any of the issues in that have been brought to light that we've proven, and for the audience and everybody, even new people so I could reiterate, listening to my attorney phone calls during trial, witnesses who are lying, hiding witnesses, tampering with witnesses, proving where I was at, entering evidence, after the fact, which you can never do. I mean, this goes on and on. Every single aspect of it has been proven, and my old attorney has now come to testify on my behalf and has done so. And we have the transcripts for that and everything. I mean, you can't get a better case.
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
But the problem is, if you don't protect the record from the beginning by putting all of the issues on, then like the judge said, she's going to act as if there was never any issues to begin with. And this long fight that I've had over 13 years has been for nothing, because now I'm going to have to start over, and I'm going to have to go after the appellate attorney to go backwards to just get to the other part. That's why I'm trying to find an attorney that will just step in for that one day, that one motion, just to put everything on the record. And you can go, hey, look, this is what took place. We've already been through this. We need you to rule on this. We need this judge to rule for me or against me. It doesn't matter how she rules, because either way it protects the record on what I've actually already proven. Once that's done, I believe this case will unravel itself, because once you get it out of the courtroom and you get to these other people, I believe that they're going to look at it like the appellate court and the Supreme Court and the Western District. They're all going to look at it like, you violated this man's constitutional right to the point where it wasn't as if he wasn't even a citizen of the United States. I mean, it was like I was some foreign person who didn't know anything. I mean, I've never even seen anything like this. I mean, I've looked at so many people's case law, so many ethical and constitutional violations, and when I compare my case to what took place to me versus on them, you know, it's like it almost feels like I'm being, you know, like I'm making it up, like it's science fiction, because at no time can you ever listen to a person's attorney phone calls during a trial without a warrant. At no time can witnesses get on the stand and lie, and the district attorney knows that they're lying and has audio recordings of them and doesn't turn that evidence over to my attorney until
That's his
after.
job.
You know.
That's his job, to get you convicted. That's
Yep.
what a DA is for, to get you convicted.
Correct.
They'll do anything to get you convicted, just for that little glory thing, that little star, to get the little gold star on their little report card. You know?
Correct.
So,
And it is, and you're 100% correct. And I think that's where I put that in that letter that I gave to you guys, where it says that that's the freight train, the legal freight train. This thing is moving so fast that, and everybody knows that a train can't stop on a dime, you know, and that's the legal system. You know, they're scared to stop on a dime because of what's going to come crashing into them when they do so. If they had stopped and been, wait a minute, you two aren't telling the truth. You know, their own witnesses. You know, you two know each other. I know you guys know each other. I've interviewed you guys together. I have audio recording of you two talking. That would have stopped my whole case right there and been like, you guys are liars. I can't have two people who are compulsive liars get on the stand, and then I'm supposed to believe you now versus, you know, I mean, why even lie that you guys don't know each other? What was the purpose in that? I mean, do you see what I mean? And that's what I want the viewers to know, too. You know, when witnesses get on the stand and they're saying they witnessed something, what would be the purpose and what would be the harm in it if you two said you know each other? I still can't even figure that one out. You know, you're sitting there going, what was the end game? You guys didn't want me to know you guys knew each other? There was no harm in you two knowing each other, so why did you get on the stand and say you didn't know each other? But then now I know why. It's because one called the other from the county jail and clearly said, hey, I'm in jail. Can you bail me out? And I'll say whatever you want against this guy. I don't care. He's not from here. And if you can't, can you throw some canteen money on my books? That's what he said, word for word. So,
dude, that's crazy, man.
You know, and we didn't have any of that evidence. We didn't even know any of that. You know, and like I said, my attorney, when we were going to trial, 15, and I know this sounds like a lie, but it's not. 15 minutes, I remember it because it's burned into my brain. It was 7:45 or 7:46 actually, what time it was. The district attorney walked over to my attorney and he handed him 23 pages of discovery we never knew anything about that changed the whole nature of the case. And he was like, well, I can't defend my client. He said, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. You're supposed to have turned this over, you know, and we're 15 minutes before trial. We're going to trial. And my attorney literally told the judge, he said, hey, I can't defend you can't do this. And the judge was like, I don't care. You're not getting a mistrial. She said that right out loud. You're not getting a mistrial. To do what you can. I'm like, you know, and I'm like, you know, and then 2 times during trial, she stopped the hearing and everything. And she said, listen, you guys are going to need to come back here. You know, she took the jury out and she took my attorney and the district attorney back to her office in her chambers, whatever, and told them, I'm not giving you a mistrial. You two are both, you're so far off the rails. You're doing things that are so unethical. You can't do this. He's going to get a mistrial. And my attorney was like, he's not even guilty. Why are we even here? And she's like, well, we're here because we're here. The district attorney says we're here. And that's why we're here. So, I mean, and these are her words. This is not me, like, misquoting her or anything like that.
Anything that's said in court, you know, that the stenographer there, he or she's taking it all down. Get the transcript for that. Get it.
Oh, yeah.
They have to get that to you. They got to give you the transcript, what that judge said, what that DA said, what your lawyer said. They got to give you all that stuff. And you know, are you sure you got it all?
Yeah, actually, I am. Trust me. I actually have something that they think I don't have. You actually have possession of it, too. That letter, that last page of that letter you have off CCAP is a non-existent form. The only thing you're going to be able to, you can call up the clerk of courts, you can call Alejandra, Peter, Paul, everybody's called up who has had 100% success in getting the transcripts of everything I've ever had, every court hearing, every statement, everything, even things that weren't said. They say and I quote, "There was no hearing on 4/17. There was nothing that happened on 4/17/2023, but yet you have a piece of paper in your possession right now, there at the podcast with you, that clearly says what the judge's statements were." And when you ask them, they say, "Well, then what happened on 4/23? Was the court hearing canceled?" They say, "For Mr. Harrison, it was, yes. All we did was reschedule." But if you look and see the statements that were accidentally placed online by the stenograph lady, then you see what happened. That's why everything took place. There was no other way to end my case and not free me unless she told them, just don't file issues, and then we can put this case to rest, and we'll see if he'll continue fighting for his innocence. I mean, after 13 years, did you think I was going to stop? No, I'm not. And the only reason I didn't take the 4-year plea deal, when they offered it to me, is because I am innocent, and that's in the records too. My attorney got on the stand and told them my client would not refuse the 4-year plea deal that everybody here agreed to, including you, Your Honor, because he said he was innocent. I wouldn't even be incarcerated right now. I'd be done with probation and everything. But I'm not going to admit to something that I didn't do. That's ridiculous. So, if there's anybody out there, and viewers or people that are listening to this podcast or anything like that, I have a GoFundMe set up that isn't doing too well, to be honest, and I am fighting for my right. And even if you don't want to put money in it, which is fine with me, I prefer, if you choose not to do that, that's fine. Put a comment on there. Tell me that, to keep fighting. Give me some kind of support that, that other people will see also. Because there are people in prison, not just like me, other people who are sitting here fighting the same corrupt system that doesn't care whether you are innocent or not. I mean, I've proven it. And I've already lost 13 years of my life. And I've got teenage children who are out there right now who are mad as hell at me because I haven't been there and I'm the only parent. I still, deal with them and talk to them, whatever. I do everything I can. But, how much of a father can I possibly be, from a correctional facility where I get 4 cents an hour, and they take 10% of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what else to. And that's the truth. That's not actually me making anything up. We get $4 every 2 weeks is what I get. You know what I mean? And then they take 10% of that plus whatever else is owed. So I end up with 27 cents.
You're in the medium, right? Oshkosh is medium. Is a medium,
I just made it to a medium. I was at Green Bay Correctional for 6.5 years.
Can you another 5 years? You can go to a minimum.
Work release.
Yeah. They told me, due to the nature of my case, I'll never see a minimum. I'll be stuck in a medium for the rest of my life.
Because minimum, you go to Sangambe Powers, man. You got person got it made there.
Yeah,
you go to Green Bay and you cut grass and get paid union wages.
Yeah, but he's trying to get his freedom.
$2.50 an hour.
You too though, but he's trying to get his freedom, man. I know, but
in the process,
that lady that's on that statue, she's got that thing.
My thing is,
over her eyes.
They don't even let anybody go to minimum unless they've got like 5 years left.
No, a lot of people got life in minimum. The thing is, a lot of people ain't getting to
work
release because they ain't
DOC,
doing the program.
He ain't doing that program. Why would he do the thing about why is he going to take
other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Hold on, but that's the reason. So, let's say if he even wanted to go to minimum, he'd have to take that sex offender class. He's not going to take that sex offender class because he's innocent. So he's and if he takes that sex, what?
I can't actually do that, and here's the clause on that, just so you guys are clear on this. I can't even do that because if I do that, I give up my right to an appeal. That's the law now.
Yes, you will. And
why would I do that? Why would I do that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard too. If I was the case, why wouldn't I just took the 4-year plea deal?
If all things exhausted, everything gets exhausted on you, you got to accept what's going on.
Yeah, but he's got other.
Yeah, but you can only go so far. You can't go beyond what you're doing. You got your appellate court. You can send everything to appellate court and let them look at it, and they'll say, "Hey, wait, now check this out." If you get the transcripts and that, and it states that they all know your innocence and all that, but still did this to you and that, You can put it to the appellate court. They'll look at it. They really will. And then when you get out of that and they say, okay, you're out of there. You get out of there, and then you take it to the federal court and you sue the shit right out of them.
I was just 2 days ago. I was just on the phone with a reporter. Her name is Erin Jordan from the Gazette News, and who's in contact with Marianne Karam from Wisconsin Watch, Eric Hogan from News Weekly, and Dylan Brogan from Isthmus News. And they're all involved with this. They're doing a story called "Ineffective Assistance of Counsel," and when justice fails. I've been working with them for 2.5, almost
1
3
minute
years.
remaining.
That whole 3 years I've been working with them is giving all the transcripts to them because they wanted their and their legal team and everybody to make sure that what I was saying was true.
Do they have the recent transcript then? Do they have like what was said recently on the? So like, what are these? What are these? Listen, what are these 3 advocates of yours? I take it that you would take. Would you consider them to be advocates?
Oh yes.
Okay, now listen.
Alejandro.
We want you to get back in line to get back on the podcast. All right.
Okay, I'll do that.
Having said that, yeah, just get back in line and so we can get you back on the podcast. And dang, man.
I will. I promise I will. Thank you and God bless you guys.
Hey, God bless you too, brother, man.
All right.
Yeah, sometimes, it's like when I was in there, right?
Yeah.
It was like, it was a lot of guys, man, that was in there, And it was like,
if he's going to be there and he exhausted all his ways, and it does end at the
Supreme.
At the Supreme.
But he ain't even out of the lower courts yet.
I know, but if he wants to go all the way, he's got to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But if all fails, the best thing for him to do is take that class. Take that class.
Get some money.
And move around because move around. Time goes faster if you move around.
If you take that class, you gotta say you did it.
I took classes that
was
not in where I was at. I was at first I went to Oshkosh. I got to Oshkosh. I went to Green Bay, to Sangaree Powers. And then from there I went to Oak Hill. And then from Oak Hill I went to Winnebago. And then from Winnebago I came home.
That's what's up. You made you some money,
I just moved around.
Yeah.
I worked on the farm over in up Oshkosh there.
They do got a farm too, man.
Yeah, you make cottage cheese and milk, and I did that.
Well,
I made my own ice cream when I was
he
there.
just said it. Listen, all right, but his situation.
His situation is it sucks because he's got a rap sheet from here to Oconto.
Tell us about this rap. Look it up on your phone. Look it up on your phone right now because why can't you? You could see Cap.
All right. I got it from.
You could see Cap. Why are you giving me the phone for? I got enough over here right now.
No, see Cap.
No, I'm gonna do the man Cap. No, man. Yeah, I'm gonna do the MAN Cap.
You can see Cap me the one.
Yeah, man. You
they
can
know
see
already.
Cap. You can see Cap. This Cap. That's right. That's what you can see.
We made this about all these dudes with this damn.
I tell you, a lot.
Well, you know what you got to do, right? You got to go get yourself some murderers or some burglars.
They keep calling though. Like,
hey, they need help. Well, Richard, I believe, Richard, listen, Tom Glass, Richard Harrison, I believe that they're innocent. Alabama, I want to help Alabama out.
No, but honestly though, Rich, what you think? Honestly,
I think
though, like real, like.
Oh, you talking about what?
What you think about
everybody's innocent
about Alabama?
Did you notice that anybody that was when it was in the system there,
man.
and you went around everybody that when you were in the system, and you went around, everybody was innocent.
No,
everybody's innocent.
That's not true. Listen, Danny. Listen, no, Danny.
I mean, we understand that.
Danny, and Chepe. But now Chepe was like it was self-defense. This guy was out to kill. Was trying to kill him. And he was drunk and high, and he shot at the guy in self-defense, and he died. And he went to trial. He went to trial. The other guy had a weapon. It was so that's why the argument was self-defense. His defense was self-defense.
A butter knife with 2 dull ends.
No, it's talking about a gun, a gun on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Go back to the question at hand.
Yeah.
What you think, man?
About Alabama?
Yeah, man.
I think.
Truthful, not just out of your mind, your heart. What you think? Because the mind will trick you. Your heart don't tell the truth.
No, you already know then what I think.
What you think?
I didn't hesitate to say anything about.
That's Oshkosh again?
Yeah.
We ain't finna have him call all night, Rich. The other people got to call.
El Schmidt.
An inmate at Oshkosh Correctional Institution. Your account balance is $12, and all
new
calls
guy. I don't
other
know who
than
this
properly
is.
placed
I'm
attorney
saying, what do you think? I'm
calls
shaking
may
your
be
head no at me
monitored
for?
and
It's a new guy.
recorded.
We
Thank you for
you gonna
using
take the
IC
control.
Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
How's that for fast?
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
fine. That is fast, bro.
That's
It's just
fast,
we heard somebody else's somebody else's name.
Yeah. You know, there's more than one way to jump on a dog's back. You already know that.
Yeah. Well, go pick up where you left off then.
So what I was trying to say is, my whole issue is that everybody has this misconception of the way the law is actually works. I mean, I'm sure you don't, and I'm sure the other gentlemen there have a very good understanding, but until you're in the heat of the court battle and you can see that no matter what you do, unless you have an attorney who's so far on top that they know they can't push that attorney around, there's nothing you can do. I mean, I was dumbfounded. I walked into a courtroom thinking I'm going home. There's, I didn't do anything. I know I was at work. I know where I was at. I know I could prove by, billing and this and that. I could prove every statement that I legitimately said until my attorney didn't know what to do. My attorney sat there and couldn't defend me because he didn't even know what he was defending me against. And until the district attorney and the judge were both like, no, you're not going to tell the jury where you were at, which I've never even heard of that. So now you're not even allowed to have an alibi? I mean, they legitimately said that. You are not going to tell the jury what your alibi is. And I was like, you can't even say that. I mean, that's not even a allowable statement to make, and then so you're telling me I have to sit here and allow you to accuse me of a crime that I know I didn't commit, that I'm refusing, because they kept, and this is no joke, so the audience and everybody understands. The first plea deal they came at me with was 8 years. Then it was 6 years. And then they put on the record, they go, well, okay, we're going to put this on the record, Mr. Harrison. We will give you 4 years. You just go do 4 years, and you'll be done with everything. You do 4 in, you got jail time credit from sitting and everything. Well, you'll just go and it'll be done, and that's it. And you're free to go. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to take a plea deal for anything, for something I did not do, and I can show you that I didn't do it, and I can prove to you everything. Obviously,
and
13
years later, you're still there.
Yeah, 13 years later,
Yeah.
and I can honestly say there has never been 1 minute where I've been incarcerated where I've thought to myself, I should have just took that plea deal, because that's what, there's no guilty in me. There's not one time, and a lot of these guys here that I've told this to, they go, I would have taken it. And I said, well, let me ask you something. And everybody has to ask yourself something at some point in time. Am I guilty in any way, shape, or form? Because if that would have been the case, then yeah, obviously you take the plea deal. I mean, you jump on that and you run along, you know what I mean? Because that's what, people do in those kinds of situations. I wasn't one of those people. I knew 100%, without a doubt, I didn't do anything wrong. I knew that, so it should have been a simple in and out scenario. Where were you at? I was over here. Can you prove it? Yes, I can. Here, I'm on camera. Here's the billings. Here's my people at my work that all signed affidavits. During these times, the same thing with my sister. Well, they're saying she signed this land contract. Well, that's an impossibility. Here's her hospital reports. Here's the pictures, and here's the cameras, and here's all the doctors and everybody who signed affidavits saying she was in a coma until after all this stuff took place. So how is that possible? So you're lying again, and same thing with the, when the district attorney hid that evidence, when the district attorney knew her witnesses got on the stand and lied, it's the same thing over again. They knew all the way down the line what they were doing. But it gets to the point where it was so far out of control because a lot of people don't understand the rules for trial. After you're done arguing everything, you can't enter evidence anymore. You cannot enter it. You can't continue entering evidence during closing. What the district attorney did, she had stuff hidden behind a wall that nobody even knew moved. And at the end, she moved this wall and out came all this stuff that was never entered into evidence that the jury got to see that had made no sense, which would have proven, actually, had it been, vetted and done correctly, would have proven that I was actually innocent. But she was like, these are the dates and times that this allegedly happened. These are the dates and times in this. And I'm looking at the dates going, well, that's simple. Those dates I was at work, or I was over here or here and here, and I could prove it. It was, physically an impossibility. But yet, my attorney was never allowed to say anything about it. He had to accept it. But the law is clear. You can't admit evidence.
Yeah, he must have been a He wasn't.
But they did it.
He was a Shriner. He was a Shriner, and the judge was a Mason. Yeah. But if they're both Masons, then you would have probably heard something.
Yeah. It's so, and that's how it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm tired. I am. I'm not gonna lie to you guys or anybody else. I'm 48. I'll be almost 49 years old. Emotionally, physically, I'm beat up. But I'm still going, and I'm still gonna keep fighting this. I'm still gonna, no matter what.
Keep on,
I just don't want to be a martyr.
You got other trails you can go. You can go to the appellate court, to the United States Supreme Court.
Problem is, I can't actually go to them yet. See, that's where a lot of people
after you exhausted that, you can.
Well,
if you have no other alternative, no other way of doing anything, it's the Supreme Court, is it? Not the Wisconsin Supreme Court either.
Correct, and I understand what you're saying. I do. I 100% am 100% in agreement with you, but I think you're missing the legal aspect of what happened at court on 4/17. That's where this whole thing took a turn. Because she told my attorney and the district attorney not to put anything on the record, I can't go to the Supreme Court yet. I can't go to anybody yet until I get out of her courtroom with the issues documented on the record, which is called protection of the record. That's the state law. I've won 8 out of 9 cases, and so I actually know that for a fact, and that's why she said it. That's why I made sure that you guys had that copy in your possession.
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Without that being put on the record, I can't even get it out of the state court to the Supreme Court, the appellate courts, the Western District. I can't do anything. And that's why I need an attorney to step in just to protect the record. Once the record is protected, it's a firestorm on their end, because that record is protected to the point where it shows unethical, and judicial misconduct by the judge, by not recusing herself because she was friends with the family. She knew that, and it was put in properly and in a timely, for recusal of judge, and she refused to do so. I won one of my other cases that same way, so I know how that goes. She knew that the district attorney was allowing for witnesses to lie because she actually was the one who said she knew about the actual other witness and the audio recording, but you allowed for this to take place in there. The district attorney at the time, who's not the one now, she was promoted, obviously knew because she sent her detective, this Maya Krajanovic, which, by the way, I want the public to know this, Maya Krajanovic was removed by Internal Affairs for lying on police reports. This was the detective who was also on mine, and she did the exact same thing. She made it so we couldn't even subpoena her into court. I've never found where you can't subpoena the person who investigated the whole thing in the court. They brought an officer into my courtroom and asked him, "Did you see him?" He said no. He said, "Did you see any evidence that pointed towards Mr. Harrison was there or at any time or anything?" He said no. That's all there was. He literally got up and left because we couldn't get the other person subpoenaed. We couldn't get Maya Krajanovic, the detective at the time, subpoenaed. And my attorney went on the stand and said that. And like I said, if you guys want that transcript, all you have to do is contact one of my advocates. Her name is Alejandra, and she will give you the actual transcript, word for word, for what my attorney just went on the stand and said. And like I said, when he got on the stand and said that, the judge stopped the hearing for 11 months. I've never even heard of that either. I've never heard of a hearing being stopped in the middle of a hearing for 11 months later, unless you're thinking of it like I did. They needed time to regroup so they could try to come out of what just happened.
That's a possibility.
And so, I'm fighting here, and I'm grateful for you guys. Every day I think about you guys, and I think about what you guys are trying to do, not just for me, but for other people. It's a wonderful thing.
That'd be a good
But I'm down to less than 2 weeks.
You know that?
Before I have to quit.
A law school student, contact the college, and get yourself one of them ones that want to make it into being a lawyer. They're going to college for this shit. They'll take them. They'll take them. They'll take them cases.
I have contacted every innocent and exoneration program.
Yeah, but this ain't got nothing to do with this. Ain't got nothing to do with all that.
I've contacted every news media, every single one of them, and I know that it's hard to believe, but I have. I mean, I just sent an email list to Mr. Harvey, and he received it. That's just one of 14 that I have. And I mean I don't have the ability to be able to send stuff out in large quantities from here because they have to be on our friend list first. So I have to send it out to somebody else to try to do that for me. I write anywhere from 20 to 50 letters every single month. That's not an exaggeration. I go through a ton of envelopes here.
Did you try to college? Did you try to institutional college there?
Yes, that's how I was able to find my, Alejandra and everything is through Boston Legal, or the Harvard Law, and I went through that portion, and she was graduating from Harvard, and she's part of the Apostle program, and she was kind enough to come in to try to help me set up the GoFundMe, to help me with my banking and whatnot. She's an amazing person, but I legitimately write the news, I write the governor, I write the president, I write everybody, and I make them aware of what's going on here on almost a weekly basis. And it's not just a rant and rave, because you can obviously see the way I write. You have the proof of my letter, and I do it in an articulate way so they can clearly prove every statement I'm making, so that way they don't think I'm some kind of raving lunatic.
Biden might have got your letter, but he probably sent it at Henderson over in Harrison in Nevada at the pawn shop. That's how our president is.
Well, I've been writing the Innocence program here in Wisconsin, and the LAIP and all that stuff for 13 years. I've got probably about 100 responses. They've got their own little file, and every single one of them was a boilerplate response. We're sorry, Mr. Harrison, at this time you haven't been able to get into a situation where we can actually help you. When you do get to that portion of your case, it'll take 3 to 5 years for us to be on a waiting list for us in order to be able to help you. And it's the exact same letter almost every time. Only one time did I get a response where they clearly said, at this time we're not able to help you based on the fact that you're not far enough along on your case. So I've served 13 years. I don't know how much longer you want me to do. I don't want to become a martyr. I don't want to die in prison, and then later, 2 days after I pass away, they go, oh, well, guess what? He was innocent, so we'll give his kids $25,000. I mean, not to be joking or nothing like that, but by that time, that's about the price of a Reese's peanut butter cup's going to be. I mean, come on, So
no, Richard. My brain went numb just now. Now, what else I asked? Okay, we introduced you to the podcast, right? So,
right.
What would you like us to do out here? Like, make a call or something. Something like.
If you look at the letter, that email that I sent to Richard Harvey, I gave the podcast full permission to broadcast, advocate for me in any way they feel necessary that could help me to be able to find an attorney that will just simply protect the record. I'm not asking for an attorney to fight all my battles or none of that. Protecting the record is the only step I need right now, because without protecting that, all of this is for nothing. So if you have the ability to send out emails like the one emailing list that I gave you with the GoFundMe, my story, with that, just asking for help for me in any way, shape, or form, I am 100% asking you to do so, and praying that you will, and anybody else that's listening that will. If there's any information, to people that are listening to this podcast, please call the podcast, call them, email them, do whatever you can, and ask them for the information. My advocates definitely need help, in this situation. A lot of people don't understand how gravely serious this is, not just for me, but for innocent people that are, going through this legal system that don't have any recourse, don't have nobody. So
yeah, are your mom still living?
Say that again.
Are your mom still living?
Yeah, my mother is. She's in the hospital right now. She's got really bad diabetes. She's down in Alabama, and she's an elderly woman. Which this whole scenario has really caused her a lot of problems.
So would you like to say anything to her? Because Mother's Day tomorrow, you surely have the floor. If you like to say anything to your mom.
Oh, I mean, I tell her I love her and I miss her, and that I wish I was there to help her, through these hard times, like I've always done. She knows I love her, so I love my kids too. They know that, but I speak to them enough so that they understand that. They know.
It'll be a good thing on your behalf to do, to reach out to like family members and friends and tell them about the podcast so they can watch you and hear you over story on YouTube so they can share it with other, friends and family members. So if you can get the chance, tell them about the podcast so they can share it, so they can have some times off and they can have a way to, watch your
All
story.
calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
I believe your story is important. I think the world should hear it. I think they should take a look at it. I think you should get a second chance just on what you're saying that we heard so far. If you could reach out and you tell them, hey, they can see you, man. You live on YouTube, man. Your picture up, your voice. It's like they know who the person we talking to. You see the person we talking to.
I do know, and something I forgot to tell you guys, and I apologize wholeheartedly. It just popped in. Like I said, my brain is kind of turned into mush a little bit. The MUM program, it's called Madison Urban Ministries. John Givens is actually a part of my case. He's a witness to, and he's a very big person down in Madison, that has helped me. He was actually one of my eyewitnesses to the location of where I was. And this guy runs a very, big program and has been received awards and everything. And I want everybody to know that, a lot of the people that are my witnesses that can identify where I was at during the time of these crimes and everything aren't just random people or just people that I know or anything like that. These are high, like officials, and these are people that don't know me from nothing and have no reason to lie or none of that. And none of this stuff was allowed, so they could identify and say, hey, this is where this man was during this period of time. And that's non-disputable. He was on camera. He was with me and several other people at the time, in a facility, like a job environment or an actual office building or whatever, and so it doesn't. And this is, something I want the viewers to also know. It's very important, that the viewers understand that, I'm not just some random guy from prison saying he's innocent. I 100% am innocent, and I want to prove not just to my children and everything, and everything else, but I want the viewers to know this, that, I fought for 13 years to learn things I never thought I would ever learn, about the law and all this other stuff. So anyway, I don't want to take up a lot of your guys' time. I know that there are other people who need to be on this podcast and, and need help also. But I want each of you guys to know that I'm very grateful for what you guys are trying to do. And I'm, God bless each and every one of you, no matter what you do. I appreciate it. And I do give you guys full permission to do anything and everything you can to try and help me, obtain legal to just protect the record. That is my main goal right now.
Yeah. That should be broadcasted.
He gone?
Yeah,
he's still here.
Yeah, man, reach out to other inmates too, man, that have similar situations as you, man, and others if they, they have a voice and they have a a life experience that they need to tell the world about. Tell them to call. Give them the number.
I will. I tried to, and please don't take this the wrong way. I mean, you guys seem like the greatest people in the world. I really mean that. But I tend to gravitate towards people who have more of a grasp on reality.
1 minute remaining.
I don't want to give out your guys' number to somebody that might do something that is a waste of your time or inappropriate in any way, shape, or form, because that's not good.
A short timer.
Well,
give it to a short timer.
For the forward, things up. I don't want you, like I said, I really mean this. I really appreciate everything you guys have done. It means the world to me.
Honestly, I'm surprised that other people ain't calling because I know we asked you guys many a times to reach out. And there's thousands of people in them joints, that have similar situations as you. And we'll never hear from no one else. So we like, is you telling them, Are you telling them, reaching out, or is it all about you,
I did tell a gentleman by the name of Cherry he was supposed to be calling you today. He didn't call?
No, I don't think so.
We did have a call come in from Oshkosh, but we were on the line with another inmate from Racine.
Oh.
Just, call next weekend. And you got my email. Email me throughout the weekend, man. We'll chop it up. You can even call me too. All right. So.
What you think, Pops?
He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere, huh?
I seen people in that system, man. When I requested to go to Waupun, I was way below their material, I only had 3 years. But when you're in Dodge, the warden says to you, if you have any questions, be free to ask me. Everybody up to, I said, I have a question. He said, what? I said, I want to go to Waupun. He said, what? I said, yeah, I said, I'm here. I'm here anyway. I'm going to be in some place. Why not there so I could see what it's like? It might jolt me or something, might give me one of them punches. If that means, he says, that's a very unusual request.
Man, tell me.
He says, I'll give it to you.
23
I went
down?
I went through them big gates, the big wooden gates across the road there. I went through that there, they open up, and everybody's chained to wrist, down to the feet, and then the chain coming down off the wrist to the
that's
and they're shuffling it. Me? Everybody looking at me, kick your fucking ass, man.
Because you request to come there. Yeah. And they ain't want to come there. They want to go to like Racine somewhere, Oshkosh, the biggest, better joints in Wisconsin.
I was there for 6 weeks.
Dang.
I talked to these old timers in there, that 80-some years old that were lifers.
Yeah.
I says, how do you handle that? I says, all these young guys in here, they're bangers out there. I says, stealing your canteen
and everything.
And they're muscling you.
Yeah.
He said, no. He says, this is my home. This is where I live. I've been here since I was 15 years old. I run this place. We let them do what they want to do. But we run this place. And I said, holy fuck. They let this one guy out. He was 80-some years old. Let him out of prison. And he says to me, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, they're setting me free. I said, don't you want to be free? He says, I got nobody. Everybody out there's gone. There's just me.
Dang.
Well, they put him out there. A week later, he was back. He threw a brick through the cop windows. Cop shop.
And one thing, Pops, when I was in there, though, it's a lot of guys that was very intelligent. Like, they was studying the world. They was studying about nature and this. They used to study so much. And the thing was that made me, stay in my own conviction out here because they status in there, and what they've been through in there. And I know they can never come home. They're lifers. And they say, if you come back, man, I can't talk to you again, man, because you got your freedom, you got this, you got this, you got this. So I started looking back at that, and I say, dang, man, you can't never come home. And I never go back. Some people say never, but I had to learn the hard way that it's all right to do the right thing. So when I have that training of mind, no one can take your power unless you allow them to. So I had to listen to their message every day. Every day hear their story. Every day hear their voice. I knew I could do more, for them and everything. And they've been down for 30-some years. I knew I could do more for them. But the time is like, I lost so much, and I'm trying to gain back my life, And it's like, it's not a selfish thing. It's just some things you do out here that you never knew you would be doing. It's unexpected. Yeah. It ain't like I left them, I still have them in my heart and my mind. It's just life goes on, And it's like when I first got out, I was reaching out to everyone. That's how, found where Richie was at, I was reaching out to everyone, man. You know, you take care. I was doing it for like a year and a half, man. Then it just life got busy, man.
You get out before Rich?
Yeah, I got out before Rich. Yep, I got out before Rich. Yep, and I contacted and I got.
When you got out, kind of freaked you out, huh? They had stop and go lights, you know.
No,
flashes.
When,
Yeah.
when it's like when I was in, I thought Rich was dead.
Yeah?
Yeah, like for like at least 10 years. When I got out, because we have a friend, a mutual friend. His name was T Money, and he told me that Rich got shot 2 times in the face, and I was devastated, man. I broke down on my knees. I said, "No, man, it can't be." And he was like, "Yeah, man, sorry to hear that, man. Hug me and everything." And years later, man, I'm like, when I'm getting released, I'm looking back at the story what he told me. I'm like, dang, my boy gone. I'm like, damn, life goes on. I can't lose his memory, because I was thinking about getting a poster and everything. Then I said, let me use my intellect. Let me use my mind a little bit. Let me do research. Let me go all these social media platforms. Let me search his name and everything. Let me just make sure, not going off of hearsay or hearsay. Let me make sure. So I searched the name, and I saw Lil Richie, because I was there when he was a baby, and his first walk, and his first, words and everything. So
did you know Richie when he lived on 15th?
Yeah, I know him 15th.
Yeah, I remember you.
Then you moved to 9th and Lincoln.
Yeah.
You moved to 9th and Lincoln.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I got out, I had to do my own research. I couldn't listen to no one else tell me a fib,
Yeah.
So I did my research. I said, damn, Lil Richie. Is Lil Richie alive? I started texting Lil Richie. Lil Richie, what's up, nephew? How you doing, man? This is such and such, man. How you doing, man? What is it true that, man, your pop's dead? He said, no, man, it's alive, man. My pop's alive. My heart just bounced. I said, what? What you mean he alive? So it was like a part of me left for years, right? I couldn't be myself because, people make people. They make you a whole when you have people in your life. They make you who you are. At the end of the day, you also have your own decisions. But some people make you who you are because the relationship you bond with them.
Yeah.
They part of your history. They part of your story, your life decisions, your journey. So when I got out and I reached Lil Richie and Lil Richie told me, I was like, dang, man, where he? He's like, man, he incarcerated, man. I'm like, dang, man, is he? He's like, yeah, man. And I said, Lil Richie, I'm finna come see you, man. When I get off of work, man, I'm coming where you at, man. He's like, man, this is my address. I came see him and that. I said, dang, man, you look like your mom, man. Because at first I'm like, damn, he look like Lil Richie. I'm thinking he finna look like Richie. I'm like, damn, he finna look like Rich. Man, I saw him. He a split image of Sarah, man. When I say the split image of that woman, because I knew her. Me and her was the same age, and we was friends, all us was friends, but we was like brothers and sisters, all us, because all us had a struggle. We had a struggle growing up. We was really like a product of our environment, So we get up every day. We had to find a way to have fun and, make it a fun day, instead of a boring day. We was 14 and 15, and we was selling ounces, man. Really, man. Like, you young like that selling QPs and ounces?
I remember when they lived over that one.
We was two advanced,
tall
man.
building there. What's name lived above there? Yeah, you had the dog Chica. And down, not on 9th. You lived before that.
See, Pops, we was like this.
You talking about 27th Street on the south side?
Yeah, it's on the south side here.
Oh, you talking about across the street from the fire department?
Yeah, no, that's 9th.
Well, no, that was all across the street from the fire department on 20th or something. By Scott?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when I lived off of Scott?
You lived...
And
left that parrot out.
Oh yeah, I purposely did that. I left that window.
I hated that bird.
That bird flew right out the window.
I hated him.
But it's like, as we grew up, it was like we could distinguish like from the fake and the real people. It's like because we was around like a lot of people, man. Listen, I mean a lot of people, man. We was in the gang, and we was really like them dudes, like, hey, we really like them. Like, them dudes ain't backing down, man. You get into it, them dudes will kick your ass. Them dudes will beat your ass.
This is when we used to go to Bayview all
Yeah,
the
we used to go
time.
to Bayview, man. Like, we had the back. It's called Beautiful Britain, man. We took over the whole community. Listen, Pops. We took over a whole community, man. I'm serious, man.
Yeah?
Like, everywhere around Bayview, that was us, man. Everywhere. It was a lot of us. We took over the whole community. Everywhere we go, we deep, man. We walk somewhere, deep. Have such meetings, we deep as hell. You know, we go somewhere, we deep. You know, it's a lot of us, man. So it was like, it was fun, man. And it was like you grew bonds. You knew who was real and who was not, you know. And while us being advancing in our mind on a different level than people our age, it was like we was young adults that making decisions as grown men's making decisions. The guns, the drugs, and you know the people around us, you know. But we never was into like, I was into like pillies and everything, the cars and everything. The kid, he never got into that, you know. But we never was on that. We was on trying to get some money. How can we get some money some type of way?
You know, that's what I hated. That's what I hated back when I was in that area. I wanted to get some pot, you know. And I get it for you. And they come out there, a little fucking corner, a little nickel bag, or whatever they call it, you know, dime bag. I hated that because I'm a half ounce guy, you know. That's what I want. And he come in a little fucking nickel bag. The nickel bag, you get a death.
Yeah, they do that.
We did nickel bags. We did nickel bags when we was kids. We did nickel bags. We get QPs.
Yeah.
But we used to, man, we was kicking, man. We was doing our thing. It just, we was just learning. You know, we was learning about, you know, what to do and not to do.
We met this kid that was younger than us that was getting ounces for
Oh,
probably
yeah,
like
man.
$500.
Man, we met a kid, man, named Lil Johnny, man. This kid, man, had so much money, man. He was around the corner on 9th and Lincoln. And this kid, man,
he was selling us
nice
ounces.
cars.
He was selling us ounces for $50. We could have got a quarter pound off him for like $175.
He was getting an ounce when we was 14, 15. He was like 13. Me, him, and
Yeah.
Santiago, all us went to Audubon. You know, and me, Santiago, we got kicked out because Santiago had a crack 5. And majority of the people that's, you know, was in, you know, went to that school, they was, you know, different, they was oppositions from us. So me and Santiago had our backs towards each other for to fight the whole entire school. And they kicked us out because of that. We couldn't go back to school because of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't go back. We had the whole school, man, for to fight the whole school because he was a little tall. He like, young age like that, I was 5'10" or something, 5'9". Santiago at least 6 foot, you know, at that time. A little taller than us. Now he got to be like 6'4", you know, because I'm like 6'2", you know. So Santiago got to be like 6'4", 6'5", but he didn't back down. So then Rich. So I had 2 guys that with me from different ethnicity, different cultures, different backgrounds, but we end up having the same background.
Yeah.
Right? We start going through the same things because everywhere we went, man, we walked, man. We weren't the type of guys that.
Yeah, you're not gonna do much
man.
when you're driving.
We didn't have a car, man.
And if we had a bike, it's because we stole it.
We stole it. We walked past the police station every single day, man, there and back. Every single day. Weed on us, blunts, because we used to smoke a lot of cigarillos. Or we'd smoke out a bun,
Yeah.
you know, a bowl. We still have we created a mask, a doctor mask, right? What's the kind of mask is that? Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, you talking about an oxygen mask?
We had an oxygen mask, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When I say unbelievable high, I mean I'm talking about both of us. After we done, we like.
I'm trying to think of the name of those masks. You get them you put them on, and they got a little window in there.
Yeah, no, these ones we created ourselves. They have bongs in the tube.
Hello, Moto.
Had the one little tap on the end, and you stuck it in there.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Tank,
an
fish tank.
inmate at Kettle Moraine Correctional Institution.
Kettle Moraine.
Your account balance is $10. $6.95. To hear the charges for this call, press 2. All calls
This is
other
man's
than
friend right
properly
here.
placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using
It's one of
IT
man's
Solutions.
callers.
You may begin
Who is
speaking
this?
now.
Hey,
Who is that?
it's Mookie Black. What up, baby?
What's up, Mookie Black? Welcome to the Manwich Show, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed. How you doing, dog?
I'm right, man. How your day going so far, man?
It's wonderful, dog.
Hey, I appreciate you calling too, man. And you know, I was telling my best friend and about you on call. You know, we looking forward to you calling, man. So tell us something, man. Give us some knowledge, man. Give us something, man, tonight, man, that we need to hear, man.
The word for the day is called stuck in the mud. The word for the day is called stuck in the mud. We got to understand when a person asks you what makes a man, we got to understand that just because you have the identity of a man and a penis and the genitals as a man don't mean that you're a man. Just because you protect and you provide for your family and your kids, that's just your responsibility and your priorities as a man. But what makes you a man? Have you ever sat back and asked yourself, what makes me a man? What makes me a man is if I don't know what the truth is, I'm not scared to search for the truth, obtain the truth, and bring the truth back to mine. Once I get in line with Christ, then everything in the universe is going to get in line with me. Why did God create Adam as a grown man and not a baby? Come on now.
Wow, that is pretty deep right there. What's up, Mookie?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
We gotta understand, why did rain come down? Why did God water the earth with dew of the earth and did not let rain come down? Come on now. Come on now. Why did God create Adam as a grown man and not a baby? Everybody you know and I know came out as a baby and not a grown man. We gotta understand what time means, what free will means. I'm going back to this situation. What I mean when I say what makes me a man. When I know what makes me a man, I understand what makes me what free will is. Free will, if you know what a man is, then guess what? You understand what free will is.
Yeah.
Free will. You go either
a man is somebody that can bang a lady and get her pregnant. A lady can't bang a guy and get him pregnant. You know, there's big differences, even in the mind, the eyes, and the culture of the person himself. you can't tell me that I'm a man, but I could be a girl. Fuck no, I'm a man. I got dicks and balls, and I like to fuck, and I have children. You know, there ain't no way. I don't go for that transgender shit.
Go ahead, Mookie. Continue, man.
Why did God create Adam as a grown man and not a baby? Because a baby can't make decisions for itself, but a man can.
I think maybe that's why. To have they can make decisions and produce. You know, that's what was put on here. He put man and woman on earth to produce and to maintain life. That's what it's all about. You know, so. That's why they got. But yeah, I get you what you're saying about why was it a man? You know, yeah, why was it? You know,
they took a rib out of a man and made a woman. The word woman means man. The word man means woman. If you take the W-O off, it just say man's. If you put the W-O on, then it say woman. God created a woman to follow, a man to lead. If a man don't know how to lead, a woman ain't know how to follow, because a woman ain't following no car, ain't going nowhere. Go back to Proverbs and Psalm, the books of wisdom, which is trains you for the story. It speaks of wisdom as being her, she. A woman's not following no one that don't know how to lead nowhere. So we go back to the man, we go back to free will. When the baby uses free will, the baby get into everything. You got to tell him, sit down, stop doing that, it's wasting stuff. But when you got a man that don't know what it takes to be a man, he going to experience pain with his free will instead of pleasure. Because if you don't understand how to understand what to understand when it comes to being a man, then guess what? You all the way lost. And that's why a lot of us sit in these penitentiaries right now. A lot of us is lost out there on the street because we don't know what the 3 C's stands for. Challenge, character, change. I told you about that yesterday. Challenge, character, change. The 3 G's, gold, glory, girls. Then we go to understanding, knowledge, wisdom. Then we go to money, wealth, and riches. We won't live to see riches. You hear me? We won't live to see riches.
Continue explaining what the man.
The man. God created us to have dominion over the world, over the universe. Whatever we named it, that's what it was. We are occupying a position right now we were never meant to occupy. We running headlong in the feet because of that sin that day in the Garden of Eden. Right now, we eating off that same tree. We drunk in sin. Because guess what? We don't know what it takes to be a man. We scared to get in line with Christ. Oh, I went to the penitentiary for a case that I didn't commit. I was falsely accused. You might not was guilty of that, but you was guilty of neglecting God's word and his will. God know how to break you down and build you back up to what he wanted you to be. You going off your own understanding instead of going off the understanding that guess what? God is the truth, the light, and the way. When you become a man, guess what? You dwindle back down to that servant that God was when he came into the world. You dwindle back down to that servant, you hear me? And you say, guess what? I'm willing to be taught. You hear me? I'm willing for the word to minister to my spirit. I'm willing to be taught. I'm willing to follow so I can be a good leader. I don't care about nothing what's going on. I consider everything to be garbage out there in the world, depending on the relationship I want with Jesus Christ. When you don't know what it takes to be a man, guess what? You have not yet started to live. You just merely exist in this life.
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
You just merely exist in this life because you think you know everything. But guess what? God is the creator of all things. My life was just one breath to him. And when it takes you to be a man, you sit back and you say, I don't care what penitentiary I'm in, wherever I'm at, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to learn who God is. God died on the cross for our sins. If he don't do nothing other than what he have already done, he have already done enough. And we cannot do enough to deserve his grace and his mercy, which is anew each and every day that he blesses us to participate in the land of the living. So when I call myself a man, I ask myself, what do a man stand for? What do I stand for as a man? If my name is D-Shine Neighbors, what do I stand for? What principle, what morals do I stand for? Anybody there?
We there. We hear you, baby. We hear you. Come on, get them Jews, man. Get them out there, man.
We are occupying a position we were never meant to occupy. Listen to what I'm telling you now. Glory be to God of the highest form of praise. I said, so man, we are occupying a position we were never meant to occupy. We running headlong in the feet because of that sin that day in the Garden of Eden. Scholars believe that, guess what? Adam had, guess what? He had continual conversation with the Lord God in the Garden of Eden. When the serpent came in and manipulated Eve, and he heeded the calling. He listened to her. She was not even created when God gave him the orientation in his Garden of Eden. And the serpent, guess what? He coming right back into the females, right now to the family. Because what we don't know what it takes to be a man. We think the clothes, we think all this makes us be a man. We work in a job and we selling drugs and stuff like that, man. We tearing our household down instead of building it up. We would never be able to build it up until we, guess what, submit to the word of God. We got to submit to the word of God, and we got to be humble, and we got to thank God for sincerity, wisdom, and courage. Sincerity, wisdom, and courage. That's what Jesus Christ had when he came to this earth. Sincerity, sincere. He had courage, and he had wisdom. And we need wisdom to do anything. We need wisdom to have a conversation, to eat, to walk, to talk, to have a job, to have a relationship with our wife, to have a relationship with you. We need wisdom before anything. That's why we get into that book, because we need his guidance, his obedience, his discipline to be able to live this life, because the only way to get to the next life is what we do for Christ in this life. It's not about us. Once we take ourselves out of the equation, and put God there. He came in the world to serve others, not to be served. We think it's about us. That's why we keep blocking out what it takes to be a man. If I don't know what the truth is, I'm not scared to search for the truth. I'll obtain it and bring the truth back. I dig deep side of that word. And I say, God, please give me everything that you say you was going to give me in that word. I'm coming down, I'm putting down back down to a servant. And I'm asking you to do your will in my life. I'm asking you to carve a man out of me. Not a boy, carve a man out of me. I don't want to merely exist in this life. I want to live. My fear is not death. My fear is not being able to live when I'm supposed to be living. Glory be to God in the highest form of praise. Your God and God alone. I'm asking you right now to to do it for all the men around the world. I'm actually giving them a zeal right now on this podcast to say, guess what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm tired of losing when I can be winning. I'm running a race right now. I'm running with gum on my shoes right now. Endurance was a race. I want a mindset to be a marathon runner and not a sprinter. Help me to stop worrying about what people think about me and worry about where I'm going to live. It's not a race about who's going to be the richest. It's a race where my soul going to lie at. When this life ends, where is my soul going to lie? If it lies apart from God, oh my God. If it lies apart from God, oh my God. I don't want to play church. I'm tired of being phony. I've been phony all my life, and I'm just keeping it real. And I might be talking to somebody around the world right now. I'm tired of being phony. I'm tired of playing games, man, with God. And guess what? He got me here for a reason. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I had chose you already, Deshaun. And I'm talking to somebody on this podcast. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I had already chose you, Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I had already chose you. I set you apart to be a prophet to the nation. A prophet is someone sent to the earth by God to do some good for God. He set me apart for something great. I went through all the trials and the tribulations in my life so we could take the foes and seals and the saves of my give me a spiritual perception of discerning spirit to discern spiritual truth into his words. He said, guess what? I know I need to put him. I'm going to break him down and build him back up to what I know he need to do for me. And guess what? It was finally decided by God that guess what? This too shall come to pass at this podcast that I'm talking on right now shall come to pass.
Hey, man.
pretty deep.
Hey, man, you got me hot in here. You got me hot, man. You got my boy hot, too.
I'm going to keep going then. You say you hot, I'm going to put you steaming hot. What it takes to be a man? Have you ever sat back and asked yourself that? I ask myself this. If someone asks me right now, what makes you a man? And they tell you this. Don't say because you provide and you protect for your family, your kids. Don't say because you have the identity, you have the genitals as a man.
Properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Could you ask yourself right now, what would I answer? What question would I answer? What would I tell them? What would I tell them if I would have never got on this podcast and I didn't tell you the answer? Because what would you say? What would you say? And I call myself a man. If I'm not scared to search for the truth, obtain the truth, and bring the truth back to others before I can go out and preach in any city, in any state, any country. I got to be a pastor right in my household. If I don't know what makes me be a man, I cannot do what God called me to do. Just like Moses. Moses can go over there and bring them people out of Egypt if he was circumcised on the penis. That's why his wife, she did it. So how can I do God's will if I don't know what it takes to be a man? If I'm doing it for accolades, everybody looking at me when I'm on talking about God, I'm not doing it wholeheartedly. I'm not doing the circumcision of the heart. If I'm not doing it wholeheartedly, key man, how can I say I'm a man? How can I say I'm a man? I'm doing it for money. God ain't coming to the world and preach the word of God for money. He did it because guess what? He loved us first. And guess what? We have to have a love for him. We have to say, guess what? I don't care about what they're doing in the world. I want to know what it takes to be a man. That's what I want to know. I want to know what it takes to be a man, God. And then I can know who you are. I don't care about where I stay, where I sleep, what I eat, what clothes I got, if I got a car. I don't care. I just want to stay deeply rooted and grounded in your word. Because I know, guess what? You're going to show me what it takes to be a man. And once you show me what it takes to be a man, then I guess what? I activate my power. Once I activate my power, then you're going to do the rest. Joseph, Jacob, which means supplanter, trickster, and heel, changed to Israel, what means rightful man that God has prevailed. We go back to Abram, which means exalted father. Changed to, guess what? Abraham, father of many nations.
Hello. You still there?
I'm here.
Okay, continue.
Make a man, though, is he has emotion, lack of emotion, right?
I can hear you.
That makes a man. Strength.
Yeah, big bro.
Them all stereotypes.
Start asking brothers that have them brothers that got a life that have a story to tell. Tell them to call in. Give them the number. Give them the number to call in. But make sure you secure your spot too, though. At the same time, though.
Correct.
You know,
dog. The word of God is say, man, at the end of the day, man, heart will become wax cold for the word of God. Man, let me tell you something, man. As long as these people got these phones, they can talk to the girls in the sports. These people, man, they ain't. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do my best. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna plant the seed, and I hope they water it.
Mm-hmm.
Mookie, we want you to start calling every week because it sounds like you got something to say. It really does. It definitely gives this platform another
voice.
Definitely another voice, especially in another prison because we're already in Racine, we're already in Oshkosh, and to get into Cattle Moraine and to have it grow, to see this platform grow even more than it already is a blessing. Because I'd love to say more about why how.
Cut on.
Yeah.
I
What?
go back to as I'm talking to you guys on the phone and I'm looking out the day room. I'm just remember scripture. I'll go back to Genesis 6 when they talk about the Nephilim. And with the highmost God, the Lord God said, "My heart should not thrive with humans. My spirit should not thrive with humans." He said, "I am grieved that my heart is grieved that I made humans." So we know that his emotions was connected to his creation. Come on now, kid, you hear me? When you look at this Bible, you got to look at it. You got to read it with your spiritual eyes and hear with your spiritual ears everything that God wants you to see and hear through Christ. You got to hear with your ears and you got to see with your eyes. Now, you hear me? He said, "My spirit, my heart is grieved that I have made humans." So that let me know when I read that word that guess what? The highmost God, Jesus Christ, was not even created at this time. You feel me? So the highmost God never came into the world as bone and flesh. I see that guess what? His heart was connected to his creation. And right now, man is doing exactly what they was doing back then. We have to know about the greatest tragedy that ever happened in the Bible. That's the Noah flood. And guess what? We back in the Noah days right now. Come on now.
Hey Mookie.
Come on now.
Hey Mookie. Do you know Danny Connor?
Danny Connor?
Connor, Conner.
Oh, Connor, I think I ran across that name before.
Danny Connor, yeah, he's another brother that's deep in the word.
I know Danny Connor, man.
Yeah, Danny Connor calls his podcast. He calls his platform. He's been showcased on this platform.
If you ask him, he know me, man. I
want to say he did because man was talking man one day was talking to Danny on the platform, and I want to say that Danny said because man had mentioned you by name, Mookie Black.
Yeah, no, I know Danny Connor. Just can't picture his face right now, but I know Danny Connor.
Right now, Danny's trying to get back. He's trying to get back in the court. He has life. He has 65 years to life. Okay. And he's trying to get back in the court, and he's looking at disparity cases, because the fact that his sentence was the way it was structured, right, and yet there's guys that committed similar crimes or party to a crime, homicide, and they're already home, and Danny's already served 27 years in prison. He's looking for a means for a sentence modification. See, that's one thing we do in this platform is like guys that call in, granted, there's guys that are guilty in there. Yeah, there's guys that are innocent too, though. There's guys that have gone to trial. Granted, there could be guys that go to trial and they really committed the crime, and then the rest of you know how that goes. But you got guys that are innocent and they're maintaining their innocence, and they give their story. They seek to use this platform as a means, whether it is to raise up advocates for themselves. What?
Man, it just said 1 minute, man. Hey, let me tell you, man, something just came in my head. I remember when Joseph was in the house. When Joseph was in the house with the woman, he said, "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Then when he was in jail, he said, "I can't do it, but God can." And then when he was in front of Pharaoh, he said, "I can't do it, but God can." So guess what? No matter what he was going through, guess what? He always kept God's apple of his eye. He didn't do it for accolades. You feel me? He could have had sex with that woman in the house. He didn't have to interpret those dreams. But guess what? God kept him. He kept God the apple cat in the apple of his eye. So no matter what I'm going through, I should get a tattoo that came fearless, because I'm fearless when I'm plugged in the power. If you take a TV and you unplug, it don't function right because it ain't plugged in the power. But guess what? When you plugged in the power, guess what? You function right.
You do. Tell your family and friends and your loved ones to go to YouTube, man, and Rumble and everything. You're going to be on there. 920 area code.
Dang.
Yeah. He deep, man.
Yeah, he
I ain't never like heard it that way.
All right, but
Why he ain't
here's the
make it as
thing.
a baby?
For him, you get it for us to be able to get into Kettle Moraine. That's a whole new pool. That's a whole new pool of people.
That's a
we
minimum.
gotta get to Green Bay, man.
That's a medium.
It's a medium now. It used to be minimum because my brother was there.
It's a medium. Matter of fact, right now, all the inmates that call on this platform are in medium prisons.
Yeah, we gotta get to Green Bay and Walpole and the brothers that got life, man. We want to hear from them how your time been, how they treating you, how your loved ones been treating you, how long time you done. You know, we gotta get
Green Bay prison there.
Yeah.
Birds don't even fly over the top of it. They fly around it.
Yeah.
What? Why is that?
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I heard about that too. They told me about that.
Red-tailed hawks up in a tree by the main entrance.
Rich. Green Bay and Walpole is big castles.
Oh yeah, big.
You know that?
Walpole.
No, the rec area at the top of the building, bro. How? The rec area in Green Bay, Rich, at the top of the building. Look,
So
they got
people are
pool
playing
tables.
basketball.
Man, they
on the top
playing
of the
basketball, weights. They lifting weights, and you got a choice. You go play basketball, you get on the phones, or you go to the pool room. They got real pool, like, bro. This stuff, so many fights, bro, with pool balls and pool sticks. They never mention on the news, bro.
No, I know that not
infirmity. Like all the time, they open back up in front of me. Soon you get up there, I saw a guy. They beat him with the pool. I'm like, man, what? I finna go to the phone.
Why did they do that to the guy?
Because it was a game banging stuff. He did something today.
Probably a snitch.
Like it's like he did something like he wasn't no shooter, right? But he shot one of somebody else guys, one of the gangs, and they was like, you know what? When he come in, we don't get him. So they was waiting to come in. Everybody was knowing about this, but the guy who got hit, he ain't know about it. But everybody else knew that soon he go in the pool room that they gonna beat him with the pool sticks. Man, they beat him with the pool sticks. They got the big thing pool balls. He in the corner. They throwing the pool balls at him, Richie.
They got a big basketball.
These the lifers though.
Big basketball court.
Man, they got the pool balls, Richie, with everything they got, like a baseball. But these pool balls going at him. The only thing he could do is do this, but all this break it down. Like, I had to turn my head like, oh man, that's terrible, man. Like a person shoot a pool ball and this break, like your bone right there, you can see it and you trying to hold it. You trying to hold your hand, but you see everything hit your head.
So the guy that did that too, did he have life?
I think he got like 60-some years, yup. And every time he got out, like it took him like a year and a half to get out, right? Not a year and a half to get out, but it took like the guys that did it, they was in the hole for like they went to Baskerville. They came right back. Like, what the hell? Went to Baskerville, came right back. Like, what? Out of a year though. All of them came back.
So what happened with the guy that this happened to when he got out? What did they do? Do it again?
No, when he got out, they beat him again in the chow hall with the trays. Every time he got out, they did something to him. So he had to go into protection custody. Then he got out of protection custody and said, man, it's on.
So what did he do then?
She started making them sanction shit. Like,
and then what happened after that?
Shit, they threw out the tier. They threw out the tier, broke his leg. Then
they threw him off the tier?
Yeah, they threw him out the tier, broke his leg. Then I think he dead now. You know, I think a couple years ago he died.
Damn, man, they killed him. Basically, they slowly killed him.
They slowly killed him. All that. He killed somebody out there, and he robbed somebody, like somebody gang member, and he killed him. And he was innocent. He was one of the good dudes. And he was like, man, when he come in here, man, we got him. You know, he was begging to go to a different joint though. They intentionally brung him here, Rich. Brung him to Green Bay. Intentionally.
Most of your people are from gangs that do go to Green Bay.
Yeah, many of them
go to Racine for them. They go into.
I'm talking about straight gladiator. They say, you know, anywhere you at is where you, anywhere you from is where you at. when I say like these young boys got 60, 70 years, man, working out, they got gangs in these prisons that, man, they don't care when it's time to go, they going, man. Like, that's why I recommend to young guys, man, do not make bad decisions to go to prison, man. It's a different ball game in there, man. You don't have to protect yourself every day, man. And you ain't no sleeping Green Bay. You got bars, different color bars, and people playing chess, people yelling, people, talking stuff to each other all night.
Yeah,
23,
no quiet.
23-hour lockdown. TV, the room's so small, man, that you press your hands against you spread your hands, you touching both walls with both of your hands. I don't care how small you is. That's how small the room is. And it's like the same size as the bathroom in there. Sad, Rich, like depressing, man. Like unbelievable depressing. Like when you go up there, then you go to Rex, you got to look everywhere. You got to be like, because you don't know what's going on, You don't know what's going on, who for the fight, who for to get stabbed, what's going on. So you got to be aware to be alive. Then you could take a shower. Everybody down here, you got to take a shower with your drawers on. Then you got some people don't take a shower with their drawers on. They in there naked. Disrespectful. We call that disrespectful, when they in there and they don't got no drawers on, you naked. Nobody want to wash up with a person like that, So people don't even take a shower. They take bird baths because they don't want to get in there because they naked.
Hello, Moto.
Yeah.
Hello?
Who is this now?
Who is this?
Yes, you called it the Manwich Show. May I ask who's speaking? Calling?
Yeah, my name is Mikhail, man. I'm calling in about my uncle.
Okay.
Calling in, man. Let him know, man. He innocent, man. He ain't do it, man. They got the, what I'm saying, got him wrongfully accused of some shit he ain't do.
What's your uncle name?
His name Richard Harrison.
Ooh. Yeah, this was Richard Harrison right here. This is a family member for Richard Harrison.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, keep explain it, man. Elaborate, man. Tell me a little bit more, man.
Well, long story short, he was messing with a woman, and the woman accused him of a crime that he didn't commit. So, he been I think he been down 13 years now for it. Yeah, but he ain't do it. So, we just trying to get the help, go fund me something, just to get an attorney so, they can look more into his case.
Hey, are you calling from Green Bay?
Yeah, yep.
Look, have you called an attorney at all? I mean, like, I have to ask this, like, the family, all right, like, this is your uncle, like, have you been able to get a hold of an attorney that would do what your uncle's seeking, and that is for just somebody to show up, basically a face, to put what has already been said on the record?
Well, really, me personally, no, but my grandma, she done looked into it.
Man, you gotta pick up that phone, man. Like, I want to hit. You know what? Have you spoke to Alejandra ever? Have you ever spoke to Alejandra? Okay, listen. Now, the reason why I say that is because, okay, look, I'm gonna give you the name of an attorney that I gave to Alejandra, and Alejandra's contacted this attorney. But the more people contacted this attorney, I'm gonna give you the name of. Look, this is a high profile attorney. But when I say high profile attorney, I mean like he's out there, like he's known. He's one of the best attorneys in Wisconsin. All right.
Okay.
And the thing about it though is that given Richard's case, the fact that your uncle already has garnered media attention is such a plus. Okay. Now, for an attorney to come in, it can only benefit that attorney, given that it's a win-win situation for them, right? But at the same token, this attorney I'm talking about, man, this guy's been in the paper himself. This guy's had murder convictions overturned. Okay, look, I'm gonna give you the name right now. His name's John Birdsall. John Birdsall, attorney at law, and you could call John Monday, you could call he's an attorney that's located in Milwaukee, all right? The thing is, people got to call. People got to call. Because, okay, he's got advocates, right?
Yeah.
So he's got people that out there like, look, I'm from Snaps, you know, or I'm from the Apostles, and who knows the other advocates. But the point is, everybody that can make a call needs to make a call. And this attorney too that I'm telling you about, John Birdsall, like I said, I mean, it speaks for himself. If you go on the website, you're gonna see all the accolades. You're gonna see the accolades for this attorney.
Yeah, I'm looking them up as we speak.
Have you caught it? Have you seen it yet? It should be Birdsall and O'Bear, or because that's his partner in his law firm. But John is the one to call and ask for.
Okay.
Have you cut? Has it come up yet? John Birdsall.
Yeah. Birdsall.
Yeah, Birdsall.
Yeah, it popped up.
Call that number this Monday because Alejandra's waiting for a call back, right? But again, but again, the more people that call John has a soft spot.
Yeah.
And because John has a soft spot, John, dude, like you know, your uncle said he's already done so much already. He's already done all the work. All he needs is an attorney to show up. And John is an attorney that's already established. He's already made his bones as an attorney. He's already got the publicity. He's already had this. He's already had that. So unlike this attorney that, for instance, that your uncle has now, who doesn't want to defend him entirely because of her own aspirations to build a career off of, right? To develop a career. Look, John's already done it. John's already had a career. He is that guy. So having said that, I mean,
all calls other than properly placed.
Just do it, nephew.
all right, right now we're going to be shutting her down. So if
All
you
right.
want, hold on, where are you going? Right now we're going to be shutting it down. So we'll give you one more minute, man. Say whatever you want for the public to hear. And pass the podcast around, you know, like let people know the episodes that your uncle's already been featured on. Episode 27, 26, and now he's been on episode 28. And the more people that hear your uncle, not just hear about your uncle through others, but they'll be able to hear your uncle's very own words. That's precious. You got people in prison. Exactly. You got people in prison right now, and they can't. They're talking through others. They don't have the opportunity for people exactly to directly hear them themselves.
Yep.
So go ahead. You got that minute. And they're out there. We got to shut her down.
One moment. What you say? But yeah, I just want to, I just want to let the people know, he's innocent. So, really, at the end of the day, it's really up to me now. So I'm gonna have to, go ahead and make that call Monday. He a good dude, he raised me. Really, time only tell, really. But he will be walking some games, sure.
We appreciate your call too, man. We appreciate that, man. We need to hear that, man, and the viewers need to hear it. So we set it off, man. And make sure you call next week if you can, man. And
yeah, I can.
Tell people about our show, man, and tell them to watch the Manwich show. They don't, they don't view your uncle, his statement and everything he, pronounced,
Yeah.
everything he announced and everything. So thank you, man.
All right.
I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your night, man.
Yeah, most definitely, you too.
This is Man.
This is Ken.
And this is Rich.
And thank you guys for watching the
Manwich Show.
So Mississippi, baby, and us in Texas, 'cause you want